Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. No. There we go. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere in the nation where Diddy's on trial and Kid Cudi's being called a snitch. Make that make sense. My name's Brian Engelman. Today is Friday, May 28th, 23rd, 2025. And this is the TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree show here on the New American Media.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today, this wonderful day. I got a question for you. First question of the day. Are you growing a garden? I recommend that you do. Now, maybe because of all the bullshit that they're spraying in the air, you might want a greenhouse where you can control that. Seriously, all these metal samples. When will it finally be commonly known that they're spraying bullshit in our air? Oh, I don't know. We'll just put that on the list, the long laundry list of things that I've been telling you for a very long time. And many, many, many people have been lying to you about it. But that being said, I'm growing a garden, trying to put the potatoes in, got the beans started, have some chard going. Some tomatoes are coming up. The berries, I'm harvesting the, wait, they're not elderberries. What are the types of berries that grow on the trees? Not loganberry. Elderberry? What did I say? No, it's not elderberry. It's, not boysenberry. Mulberries. There we are. Mulberry. Man, I got a bunch of mulberries growing. You know, I think I might have some elderberries too, but mulberries are the ones that are around my house. And I am, here, let me share a picture. Here you go. Mulberries. That's what I meant to say. I usually mistakenly call them elderberries. Yeah, they are coming in big time right now. And man, I've been harvesting as many as I can. I wish I had like a bigger net to catch them when they fall, because the trees are so damn big, I can't get to a lot of them. One of the trees I really want to lop off, two of them. I want to lop them off, take about 2/3 of them down, and then force it to grow low so that those branches can be bent and tied off so that they can be pickable. But yeah, I definitely had mulberry for breakfast yesterday and lunch. That was awesome. What else am I growing? Man, I got a bunch of things from seed that I want to maybe put a little work into this weekend. So what about you? Are you growing a garden? David Bann, hello, everybody. Jump into the chat room. I always enjoy having your conversations as a part of the program. David, Is it Lilo or Lilo and Stitch? Now it's J-Lo and Snitch. Funny, Kenneth. Funny. Hello, Kenneth. Hello, David. He grows a garden every year. David, what is in your garden? The weather's been pretty cold lately. Yeah, but you can get your seeds started. You can get you can get little seeds started into sprouts. Hell, I mean, even if you put them in a window in the garage or something, they could get going and get you a jump start on the season. But yeah, I'm behind a little bit. I always have volunteer tomatoes that pop up because I leave a few tomatoes in the ground. And then when it comes time, they jump in. I found my first tomato growing yesterday. I'm like, yes, here we go. It's been a rough couple of years with the garden. I'll be honest. I've had a really blessed experience that I created. Let me not minimize the impact that I had. By the way, however you're watching, hit like, hit subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the thumbs up and the hearts button. Please share our content and drop a comment. Drop some comments in. Tell us your name or your initials and where you're watching from. I love seeing from all of you, hearing from all of you. But yeah, in Los Angeles, I spearheaded an effort throughout our 25 building homeowner association to put in drip irrigation systems. I mean, we planted orange, lemon, lime, grapefruit trees. That started paying dividends right away. And all this 7-foot tall kale plants, just harvest, rinse it really good. And man, I had so many good bell peppers and pineapple and tomatoes and strawberry. I mean, just awesome. And it was all on an irrigation system. So like you set the timer and every morning at 3:00, it would just kick on right to the roots. It would give you a little bit of water and you wouldn't spray it everywhere and waste it all. And man, we had incredible gardens. But yeah, since I moved out of Los Angeles, Kenneth wondering if I'm growing some plum berries, twigs and berries. What is it? Like a baby holding an apple or something like that. Anyway, yeah, plums. We also have an area near where I'm at, and it's a bit of a community area, and we've been going to town on it. We've planted blackberries out there, and we've planted a peach tree out there. Just get the food going, man. Get it going. I got some bat houses I want to put out to try to deal with some of these mosquitoes. Looking for it. Elderberries are on Social Security. Mulberries, keep thinking things over. Ponderberries. Anyway, just a thought. Quick question of the day. Anyone wants to talk about their garden? I'd love to hear about your successes, your challenges, what you're planning on doing this year, what you stopped doing, any tricks and tips. I'm just all about the garden, and it's a great weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. This is our Friday show, so we're going to jump into the news and not dilly-dally too long. If you missed the show over the past couple days, I did just kind of notice this. Scrolling through the other day, this was me reporting in the Bronx for Real America's Voice with Jack Posobiec, and they used our stuff for Steve Bannon, his program. So for giggles, I'll just play this for you. I think it's kind of neat. Maybe let me play you this one instead. Here, let's get this going.
Enough to go to South Bronx.
Here we go.
Trump's big Bronx rally.
Crowds are pouring in here, thousands of people.
We are in the Bronx today, and I do think the Bronx is going to show out for Donald Trump.
These
By the way,
people
right
up
there,
here want change.
That's my interview. I grabbed that guy after watching him talk to other people,
Trump's
so I got him
big
on.
Bronx rally.
Crowds are pouring in
Can't
here,
see me, but
thousands
that
of
was me.
people.
We are in the Bronx today, and I do think the Bronx is going to show out for Donald Trump.
These people up here want change.
Biden's bringing us down, man.
The only man capable to make those changes,
That's Dave Zier.
and he will make those changes, is Donald Trump.
50% of the people
I was on with their show as well. I actually don't know the name of that show. It's kind of covered up. But we continue.
in this area live below the federal poverty line.
Yeah, they live below the federal poverty line. My understanding, as it was explained to me, was that the Bronx is 86% Dominican. What is it? Geez, now I'm confusing. Is it Puerto Rican and black? I believe it was black and Puerto Rican, 86%. And Donald Trump, the Republican candidate, went in there, and that doesn't happen often or ever.
You like what you see going on in the city?
No, my city's upside down.
Democrats let the people down?
Sure, look at Ocasio-Cortez.
These people are furious. They feel like the Democrats have taken them for granted all this time.
Biden support.
Yeah, I was on with this show. I forget the name. And it was so hard to see. It was so hard to hear. Oh, let me switch that. I'm sorry, guys. Let me switch it to that. Here, let me take it off there. Almost. How can I show it? We'll show it like that for now. Yeah, I was on their show. It was so hard to hear. I mean, we had people blasting music and scream like there was so much noise. And I had a little monitor to try to see what's going on. I mean, it was challenging, but it was fun. I definitely enjoyed it. I was on their show.
Among minorities isn't just eroding because of failed
This is the intro for Bannon's War Room.
policies.
We were supposed to be on that show as well, but we, scheduling and stuff.
More people are waking up and seeing how much of a
They didn't end up going to a live spot from me, but they used several of my segments.
liar he really is.
The biggest issue right now is the border. You got a mass invasion everywhere, especially here in New York City. They go to the big cities.
The great American cities are really struggling right now under the weight of what Biden's done at the border, and it's palpable.
Crime is raised at least 160%. I get gunshots on my block on a weekly basis.
We need to make America safe again. Donald Trump, the #1 president, we love you. We need you. Come save us. Save us from the crime. Save us from the criminals.
And people from every race and color, the Bronx needs help.
The people have seen the past 3.5 years, and they are ready for a change.
Dominicans and black people in the streets cheering for Trump.
Dominican and black. Didn't I say Dominican at first? I changed it to Puerto Rican. Dominican and black in the Bronx. 86% was my understanding.
I love you, Donald. I would love to be able to shake your hand.
Here to see Trump. He's coming to the Bronx. I had to come. He's the greatest president in my lifetime.
I think everybody's going red.
We've wanted for a long time somebody that's warrior enough to go to South Bronx.
Donald Trump coming out here and showing that he cares about the community and he wants his message to be heard, because we've been dealt a terrible hand of cards by the Democratic Party for a very, very long time.
Minorities from the Bronx, all fed up and pissed off.
We're going to listen to the 45th President of the United States.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you very much. This is some turnout. Right here in the Bronx.
Right here.
I'm here tonight to declare that we are going to...
That's the version of Trump that I do. Right here. I do that version.
Turn New York City around, and we are going to turn it around very, very quickly. We're going to bring safety back to our streets. We're going to bring success back to our schools. We're going to bring prosperity back to every neighborhood and every borough of the greatest city in our land. We're going to reduce taxes. We're going to bring businesses and big taxpayers back to New York. We're going to make New York bigger, better, and more beautiful than ever before. And that includes right here in the Bronx. And it's going to be done and funded starting on January 20th, directly from our great and beautiful White House.
Yeah, that's wild. Just to have been a part of this interesting election season. 1 year ago, my God. What a wild ride it was. I was in the Bronx, and then the next day I was at the Libertarian Convention in D.C., where Bobby Kennedy was out there speaking. Vivek Ramaswamy was out there speaking. Clint Russell and Dave Smith were out there speaking. President Trump spoke. Then went to Milwaukee for the Republican convention, Chicago for the Democrat convention. It's been a wild ride. And we're back. We're back. President Trump back in office, and things are moving forward. On today's show, we're going to talk about the dark Diddy trial details, plus, some weirdness about the Africa anti-white racism fallout. It's amazing watching people defend the garbage that they defend. It's unreal. So we'll unpack it all on today's show. Let's jump into the stories. Here we are. Perfect. Michael Schellenberger here saying, the idea that the Biden administration viewed millions of Americans as terrorist threats sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's not. Newly declassified documents show that in December 21, the FBI and DHS labeled opponents of COVID mandates domestic violent extremists. Can you believe that? Opponents of COVID mandates were labeled domestic violent extremists, or DVEs, according to newly declassified intelligence records obtained by the public and Catherine Herridge reports. The designation created an articulable purpose for FBI or other government agents to open an assessment of individuals, which is often the first step toward a formal investigation, said a former FBI agent. That is so forked up. The report, which the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has declassified, claims that anti-government or anti-authority violent extremists, specifically militias, characterize COVID-19 vaccination and mask mandates as evidence of government overreach. Well, yeah, it was. A sweeping range of COVID narratives, the report states, have... Where was I reading? What was the... Okay, that was a weird jump from page 2 to 3 because I don't know where I was at. DVEs and foreign analogs may react violently to COVID-19 mitigation mandates. Well, yeah, you're not gonna fucking throw me into a cage. You're not gonna restrict my ability to live my life because you're acting irrationally. That's on you. You are allowed to act as irrationally as you want to. You can be in as much of a panic as you want to. You have no right to force something into my body or restrict me from living my life. You got no fucking right. I'm telling you, this stuff still gets me enraged. And then they put you in a medical system where they don't give you hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin. They give you run death is near. That's what the nurses called remdesivir. Oh, and when that doesn't work, because of course it doesn't work, it was too lethal and too poisonous to use to help people in Ebola. Then they just jam a ventilator tube down your throat and toss you into a casket. And every step along the way, they get a check mark with a government bonus. Just marching. I'm following orders. I'm following orders. I'm following orders. The report cites criticism of mandates as prominent narratives related to violent extremism. These narratives include the belief that COVID-19 vaccines are unsafe. Yeah, because they are. Captions. For countervailing views on health and elections, go to cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control, because they will tell you every medicine is safe for some fucking reason. Oh, I wonder why. Let's go ahead and figure out who's funding them. Oh, right. It's the same pharma companies that are exempted from being sued when their products destroy lives. Shocking. Yes, David, so much criminality. I didn't intend to be this fired up reading this report, but how am I supposed to have any other perspective? This should make you angry. Here, let's see. How do I search for one? Won't let me. Let's do it like that. These narratives include the belief that COVID-19 vaccines are unsafe, especially for children, are part of a government or global conspiracy to deprive individuals of their civil liberties. That's not a conspiracy. It's articulating fact. Depriving individuals of civil liberties and livelihoods. I was employed with 2 companies on Sunday. They shut the world down. I was unemployed on Monday. You fucked up my career in ways I can't even begin to explain. I was working in hospitality staffing. Every event was shut down. Now I had every client like, hey, we need staff. We need prep cooks, line cooks, chefs. We need dishwashers. We need servers, bartenders. What do you got? Yeah, the world's shut down. I got nothing. Then they said, all right, well, so that they don't get pitchforks and torches at the front gates of the White House under Biden. Because remember, they're the ones that forced all these things. Oh, let's get them hooked on free money. Okay, cool. Oh, and I know there was definitely Trump time during COVID, not to whitewash away the fact that the Orange Man was a part of the COVID protocol rollouts. I fully get that. But the force came through from the Democrats. They were the ones that went heavy-handed trying to force things into you like Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, or Puff Daddy, right? Then you got everybody hooked on free money running up our national credit card debt to the banksters. All right. Then the world was opened back up with all these ridiculous restrictions. Oh, you got to wear a face shield, and oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to wear a paper mask. Like, what the fuck are we doing? So then all the people that were in these industries trying to get back to work, hey, do you have any events? Do you have any events? I'm sorry, it was backwards. All of the people who wanted to work kept saying, can I work? Can I work? Can I work? It's like, they shut the world down. I can't. Then they get them hooked on free money. They open up with ridiculous restrictions, looking like a G.I. Joe character with a face shield or something, like you're a Cobra Commander. Then everyone starts booking events. Like, all right, we need 10 servers, 3 bartenders, and a bunch of wait staff, a bunch of rotational staff in the kitchen or prep cooks or whatever. Okay. You want to order 30 people for Saturday. Got it. None of our people want to work because they're still getting free money, and they'll lose their free money if they start working. So it just totally fucked up everything. My mom died of a respiratory disease at the beginning of COVID. I lost 2 jobs, got them back, and then they weren't the same. And then lost my brother at the end of COVID. I mean, the amount of shit that they fucked up. Then they got the audacity to say that we're domestic terrorists for calling out the bullshit. We do not hate the Biden puppet masters enough. Sorry. I didn't know this was going to be my first story and set me off, but you can understand why I am. The report cites criticism of mandates as prominent narratives related to violent extremism. These narratives include the belief that COVID-19 vaccines are unsafe, especially for children, are part of a government or global conspiracy to deprive individuals of their civil liberties and livelihoods, or are designed to start a new social or political order. Yeah, it did. It's a way they could go to social media companies and say, you don't want to propagate domestic terrorism, so you should take down this content, said former FBI agent Steve Friend. Yep. And what do you think they did to the New American Media? They deleted my accounts. They silenced me, my company accounts, my personal accounts, my groups, all of it. Haven't been able to earn an income at my 3rd job, building the New American Media. Silenced, deleted. Thousands of followers just gone. Because they didn't want me telling the truth about what was happening while they were lying to you. When are the heads going to roll? When will people be indicted for this shit? Anyway, here's all the stuff from Michael Schellenberger. Oh, my God. All right. Moving on. No, not that far. Department of Justice pardon attorney Ed Martin says a whistleblower came forward in the Biden auto pen scandal because Biden allegedly wasn't the person signing all these pardons and all of these orders and all sorts of policy. It was a puppet presidency. The whistleblower has named Ron Klain, Bob Bauer, Steve Ricchetti, and Jill Biden as key operators. By the way, don't forget Anita Dunn. And and the investigators also found the same machine generated signature on pardons for Fauci and General Milley. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, please let us invalidate every one of these out-the-door diabolical decisions from Joe Biden Joe Biden's puppet masters, so that we can indict Anthony Fauci for crimes against humanity as perhaps the most prolific serial killer in the history of planet Earth, and so that he can be jailed and face justice for his criminality that destroyed so many lives. Amen. Every day, my favorite part of the day is before I click on my phone to see if maybe they were all arrested in the middle of the night. Yep, the sting actually happened. Best part of my day. Right before I know that it didn't happen. Anyway, we'll see. There's a lot of accusations. This was the previous statement that I read about attorney Ed Martin was from the Real State of America. Here's Megyn Kelly talking about this. Oh, where's the volume? Here we go.
The thing that is most important to keep in mind is that none of this would have
This is about the Joe Biden cover-up, the puppet presidency.
been possible if we had a functioning media that had respect for the American people.
Yep.
It is their utter contempt for anyone who doesn't vote for their chosen people that allowed this to happen. Because as you pointed out, Megyn, again and again, you had this story. You were showing the clips. Anybody listening to your program or any conservative media was exposed to this, so much so that even Democratic voters understood that he was too old. And it is their utter contempt for Republicans, for people who vote for Trump, for working class people, for the normies of this country who were looking at this, looking at the footage and saying, this is not okay, that allowed this to happen. And so what I want to know is, what are you in the media going to do to correct the character defect that has allowed you to think you are so much better and so much more important than average working class Americans, that you can tell them not to believe what they're seeing with their own eyes? And of course, Megyn, this...
We saw the problems with Biden in 2019. Of course, we saw them 5 years later. The Democrat cover-up machine is absolutely miserable.
All has to do with the class divide and the fact that journalists are part of the elites, that the vast majority of American journalists are in the top 10%. These are people who have degrees from elite institutions, which actually make them much worse at their job because they think they are so much smarter and so much better and so much more educated than average people. The people telling the great American story absolutely hate the American people. That is the only way you end up in a situation like this, Megyn. I think the thing that is...
That was Batya Unger Sargon. Not super familiar with her, but I followed her. Time to void the auto pen and indict Fauci, Biden, Obama, Clinton, the DNC, and all the other traitors button. That's what I believe. Oh my God, did you see this one? MSNBC is now claiming that processed food is a conspiracy theory. We typed, also, water is not wet. These people are deranged. Look at this. So Isabella Maria DeLuca puts this out. And she says, of course, this awesome clip is coming from the biggest lady on set. You can't make this stuff up.
Now RFK Jr. is like, processed foods are bad, but he is not doing it with any research backing it. It's just his wild conspiracy theories. And I'm concerned. Y'all know how I feel about the poopy lettuce? Okay, if the FDA isn't, y'all looking at me, if the FDA is not adequately testing going out there and testing these facilities in the lettuce, then the lettuce gets poopy. They've already put some alerts out. Y'all need to check the... Now RFK Jr. is like, processed foods are bad, but he is not doing it with any research backing it. It's just his wild conspiracy theories. And I'm concerned. Y'all know how I feel.
Yeah, I've told you for a long time, anytime you hear someone use the phrase conspiracy theory, you can tune them out. You're dealing with an NPC. You're not really talking to a human. You're talking to like a non-playable character from a video game. They're just going to yap the worst possible opinions. Don't get sucked into their debates. They'll drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. These people are out to lunch. Kenneth asking if I've met Otto Penn. My name is Otto, and I like to get blotto. Hey, little dude. I haven't done an Otto impression in a while. But I just did. Yeah, tune people out when they say far right. When they say conspiracy theory, you're like, all right, lights are on, nobody's home there. Moving on. They'll drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. Here is a muckraking media dump saying President Trump has amassed $600 million in political donations for the 26 midterm elections, seeking $1 billion. Isn't this exactly what you voted for? Dragging Volodymyr Zelensky and his warmongering, money laundering ways into the White House to like put your hand up and go, enough out of you. I've had it with you. You don't want peace. You're full of shit. We're done funding you. You're done stealing from us. He's stealing from us. He's been a tool of the deep state, Victoria Nuland, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, Barack Hussein Obama, Clinton, Kerry, all of their ilk. He's been a puppet. And he's been a fool to go along with him. And here you go. Here's a South African president being shown receipts about all the anti-white racism happening in South Africa. You're damn right we voted for this. I'm going to type that. You damned right we voted for this button. End wokeness saying South Africa homicide rate. Well, the national rate is 45 per 100,000. Police officers is 60 per 100,000. And white farmers is 109 per 100,000. Shame on anyone who's trying to downplay this. President Trump put this post out saying, the European Union, which was formed for the primary purpose of taking advantage of the United States on trade, has been very difficult to deal with. Their powerful trade barriers, VAT taxes, ridiculous corporate penalties, non-monetary trade barriers, monetary manipulations, unfair and unjustified lawsuits against American companies, and more have led to a trade deficit with the U.S. of more than $250 million per year. A year. Is that 250 million? A number which is totally unacceptable. Our discussions with them are going nowhere. Therefore, I am recommending a straight 50% tariff on the European Union starting June 1st, 2025. There is no tariff if the product is built or manufactured in the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I love how he's ending all this stuff with, thank you for our attention to this matter. Sean Penn, Otto Penn. Otto. That's one palindrome we won't be hearing from for a while. Steamed hams. President Trump said, I have long ago informed Tim Cook of Apple that I expect their iPhones will be sold in the United States of America, and they'll be manufactured and built in the United States, not India or any place else. If that is not the case, a tariff of at least 25% must be paid by Apple to the U.S. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I just love that last sentence. And yeah, we should be building stuff in the United States. It's madness that we've outsourced all this. And we've allowed people to lie to us and convince us, no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing there's no middle class. We'll have super rich people like us, and then super slave people that are building the shit. But the benefit is you'll get cheap products. Yeah, but you're also going to absolutely destroy the middle class and send all them into the poorhouse. Yeah, but it's good for us. So, like, it's good. You need middle class jobs for people to work, or else they all up on handouts. President Trump's tariffs have reportedly not impacted prices or consumer demand, per Amazon CEO Andy Jassy. Trump recommends the 50% tariff on products imported from the European Union starting on June 1, 2025. Yes, you already said that. Biden's longtime physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, has been called to testify regarding an alleged cover-up of the former president's cognitive decline, which may have led to the potentially unauthorized use of an auto pen to sign executive actions. Let's go. They're also reporting the whistleblower came forward with evidence related to the Biden White House auto pen scandal, according to U.S. Pardon Attorney Ed Martin. That's very sketchy. Let's crush these midterms and begin the indictments. President Trump making a hard reset on who controls the politicians here. Take a listen.
I decided I've got to break the system. And it's the most powerful lobby in the world, the drug company. Most powerful, they are the most powerful. And I'm not saying bad, good, I'm not saying anything, but they have tremendous power over the Senate, over the House, over the governors, over everybody. And they spend more money, billions and billions of dollars. And I said, I don't care. I have to do what's right. And I decided I've got to break the system.
Yes. Break the system and do what's right button. Let's go. I'm all for it. I don't trust doctors, hospitals, none of it. None of it. Trust zero of it. Absolutely zero of it. Yeah, if it's not a sprain or a break, I don't ever want to see a hospital again. I'd probably rather die on the front lawn, in the basement, backyard. Fuck it. I watched what they did to kill my brother. Refused to give him stuff to help him. Gave him shit to hurt him. Fuck them. Nope, they did that to themselves. Lost all respect for the medical industry. Now, here is Derek Evans sharing this. This is House Oversight Chair James Comer announcing subpoenas into the auto pen scandal. Talking with Jesse Waters.
No, they just talked to Joe Biden, and he was tip-top. He was in great physical condition. He was at the top of his game. Now they're coming back covering the track saying, yeah, it looks like he was in mental decline. Well, we all know he's in mental decline. What we need to know is who was calling the shots at the White House. And one thing that was also mentioned on your show thus far is that when you sign a document that has legal implications, it has to be signed personally. It can't be signed by an auto pen. You use auto pen for proclamations and mass letters and things like that. So I think that if we can understand more about the auto pen and whether or not Joe Biden authorized it, I think this could lead to a lot of those executive orders being kicked out in court.
All right. And when do you expect these subpoenas to go out?
Well, the letters have already gone out to the staffers as well as Dr. O'Connor. So if we don't hear anything from them in a week, then I would expect to start seeing subpoenas.
And if they fight the subpoena,
say that no, they just
let them fight. Fight them
back. What do you do?
We'll go to court, Jesse. They're going to try to plead executive privilege, and they're lawyering up, and we're ready. That's why we're making sure every I's dotted and every T's crossed. The best thing that's happened in the last week with respect to this is all the new books that are coming out and all the former Biden staffers who are trying to cover their tracks. You're going to see people like Pete Buttigieg who think they have political futures come forward and say, we didn't know anything. There were gatekeepers. They wouldn't let us speak with Joe Biden. And the more that comes out, the easier it's going to be to get to the truth.
What do you do?
Good. Let's go. Time to undo as much of this Biden mess as possible. Vigilant Fox here saying Trump just played his ace card. Media spent years covering up the targeted killings of white farmers in South Africa because it didn't fit their narrative. He confronted the issue head on beside President Ramaphosa under the bright lights of live TV. That's the face you make when you came for free money but got 4K video of your country's genocide instead. You racist piece of shit. The Kiffness here says the video that was played in the White House today was the funeral procession of Glenn and Vita Rafferty, who were brutally murdered in cold blood on their farm in South Africa 2020. Their son Nathan was a year below me at Michael House. We played in the same cricket team. I knew his folks, real salt of the earth people. Now they're gone, and my friend has emigrated. Farm murders are real. They are not normal crimes. The media and our government will deny it. Seeing them smirk during the video like it was a joke to them makes me so mad. Just Loki says, doze off in my room. Wake up, open X. First post I see is President Trump bringing a TV into the Oval Office to show the kill the Boer chant to the South African delegation in front of like a dozen news agencies. Logan Hall, my president. The South African delegation continued to try to explain to Trump the situation on the ground in South Africa, and he remained unmoved. Dead white people, dead white farmers, he said. By the end, with the stunned South African president looking on, Mr. Trump began flipping through his printouts, repeating death, death, death. Yeah. Foreign leaders be warned, says Bad Hombre. Your Oval Office visit can go one of two ways. There's no in between. You could be Bukele, because you're ideologically aligned, or you could be a racist calling for the genocide of white people, and you could be embarrassed, shamed, and called out and marginalized. Let's say choose good over evil button. It's clear what's good and what's evil. David Boswell put this up. Kudos to President Trump and his team for muscling through near universally Kudos to President Trump and his team for muscling through near universally negative media coverage to post this right direction spike. So let's break this down. Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen Report says it isn't just our numbers. Real Clear Politics right direction number is 1 point away from being better than at any point in their last 16 years. Regarding the direction of the country. Oh, there's wrong track, right track. Hang on, let me make this a little larger. Wrong track is in red. That's dropped. And the right track is just shot straight up through the roof. I wonder what the real Democrat support numbers in America are if you subtract the constant lies, manipulation, and propaganda, then subtract fake social security numbers and fake ballots on fake mail-in votes, then subtract electronic vote fraud. Are we down to lower than 25% if we get accurate numbers in America? I don't understand how anybody could support the Democrat Party. The real state of America. Let's get this Taiwana Brown. Where do I do that? Where do I do that? Hold on. Trying to find. Let me make sure I'm getting a good story here. Am I spelling the name right? What is going on? Okay, here's the story. Right angle. That's the same one. Is this being reported other places? Tawana Brown will not resign from her seat after being indicted on fraud charges related to COVID relief funds. According to the federal indictment, Councilmaster Tawana Brown and her two daughters fraudulently obtained $124,000 in COVID-19 relief money. Her and her two daughters submitted 15 applications for EIDL or PPP funds. Feds say the applications included false information and documentation, including fake tax forms, transferred into bank accounts controlled by Brown or the daughters, used on personal expenses. TC Collection, the business, is not registered with the state. The application falsely stated TC Collection earned $106,000 gross receipts in 19, $10,000 in expenses. This alleged fake form is identical to the form submitted in other PPP loan applications by her daughter. Fed say she listed on the application that the funds would go to payroll costs. She was approved for $20,000 in PPP funds. Fed say 1 month after receiving the $20,000 loan, Brown spent $15,000 on a 50th birthday party for herself using her nonprofit's bank account, which contained the PPP funds. Feds claim the party expenditures included $5,000 for catering, $3,000 for the venue, $2.3 for photo and video, plus a balloon arch, a rose wall, a rented house, and a horse-drawn carriage. Oh, how pretty and proper. When I asked multiple times today whether she spent the PPP funds on payroll, Councilmember Brown declined to answer. She says she paid the $20,000 back a couple of months ago after being contacted and told she was under investigation. That's according to Joe Bruno. I gotta change there you go. So the real state of America is calling her a DEI Charlotte councilwoman. I don't know enough to know why she's unqualified. DEI means unqualified. Of course, if you're only getting there to scam, that makes you like a lot of other people in government. Maybe not DEI per se, but that's why I want to check the story a little bit. But they have been federally indicted on charges, including wire fraud involving $124,000. A throne, a horse-drawn carriage, and Louis Vuitton bags. Good grief. Ian Smith, let me go. What else does he say? See this one? That's the Department of Justice and the FBI stepping all the way over all the Epstein crimes to get to literally anything else. That's a good graphic there, isn't it? So Dan Bongino said, last night's act of terror has the full attention of your FBI. Targeted acts of anti-Semitic violence are typically carried out by spineless, gutless cowards, and the penalties will be harsh as we tighten up this. Ian Smith says, how about that blackmail ring with politicians, entertainers, and the financial elite raping children? Any word on that yet, Dan? Any word on that yet, Dan? Button. Really angered at what's going on or what's not going on. From Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, and Pam Bondi. Have not seen the Double Dutch NIM bus yet. Probably having his caviar. His cat VR. I did. He's sitting over there. He's chilling. He's moving. He knows what I'm talking about him. He knows. He's my buddy. He's known me for years. I remember that time I left him in Los Angeles. Came to visit Louisville, didn't really leave. And then my roommates watched him for a while. Blake Wally, one of those people. And someone I went to high school with. Watched Nimbus for a while. And then I flew back, picked up Halo and Nimbus and came back. Flew those two back. As soon as I got a house where they could stay. All right, let's switch over here. Kid Cudi's in the news from Cleveland. So I back Kid Cudi. Here's our question of the day on X. Do you back Kid Cudi for testifying against Diddy? Or do you support Young Thug who called Kid Cudi a rat? 77% of people are backing Kid Cudi. Count me amongst those. Let's go to our profile. The black male dancer. Well, there are plenty of those at the Diddy freak-offs, right? Let's do it like that. Check out our show yesterday. John B. Wells and Brian Engelman on the Agree to Disagree show talking God, Trump, Biden, Deep State, and World War III. Thank you to our new subscribers to our Patreon. Thank you to everybody who's donated through the other means. Oh, where are those ways? Let me put them up on the screen. I haven't mentioned any of that stuff yet. Here's the tip jar links at the bottom of the screen. We're on Patreon at The New American Media, Venmo and Cash App at Brian Engelman, and on PayPal at Fuzz Installment. Legitimately, thank you, everybody that gets some sort of value, entertainment, education. Why do you guys tune in every day? You know, we got Deb, we got Kenneth, we got David. I don't know who else is lurking. We have really high viewership numbers right now. So if you haven't jumped into our comments section, jump in, say hello. Any story you want us to cover, any joke you want to make, anything you think we got wrong during the first part of our segment going through our Instagram feed. But I try to make an educational, entertaining show, and I'm curious why you come back to watch the show. All right. Additionally, these are the places you can watch The New American Media, scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Instagram, Facebook, True Social, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, Kick, D Live, and we're on YouTube at The New American Media, on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. We're on X at American_Media_, and subscribe to our podcast, The Agree to Disagree Show. That also covers the TNAM AM Show, which is this. Deb is here for Nimbus. Well, thanks, Nimbus. You're getting some attention over there, buddy. Superstar as usual. And yes, we are on PayPal in all caps. Kenneth's mainly here to work out his material. This is his open mic session. David says the show's great. Thank you, David. What makes it great? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing right. I don't know if there's anything I could do better, but I always love the feedback. I really do. Thank you to everybody. Like I said, I consider myself to be your daily bartender, and I consider you all to be my favorite regulars. You know, anybody that jumps in, and that's why I put the comments on the side of the screen. Like, I want this to be an ongoing conversation. Even when I'm busy doing other shit, you guys keep talking amongst yourselves. Sometimes I read it into the show and turn you into co-hosts or guests or what have you. Deb is saying your news stories are informative and you make me laugh and think. Yes. Kenneth, did I send you my latest stand-up routine? I did too. I did one on Tuesday. I did one on Wednesday. And I sort of changed the Wednesday one. I added 2 new RFK jokes. Wondering if you saw that. I don't know if I sent it. I'd have to double check. Anyway, let's scroll down through X, and maybe I'll just do it this way because you can't see it. It's too small. Let me see. Oh, that's so much bigger. I might have to try it that way. Yeah, I got to try it that way for a minute. I'll go back to the comments in a second here. Caroline goes off. Goes the F off, says Sarah Rose. On Yamiche, I don't know what Yamiche is, for saying the crosses portraying the dead white farmers are fake.
Crosses are representing their lives. Those crosses are representing their lives. Crosses are representing their lives. Those crosses are representing their lives in the fact that they are now dead and their government did nothing about it. Are you disputing that there's no...
The fact that the video showed what the president claimed it showed, because it did not show that. But even more, what I'm asking you is who at the White House...
No, it did show that. It showed white crosses representing people who have perished because of racial persecution.
Verifies the videos that the president shows, and what protocols are in place when there's unsubstantiated information being put out for the world and world leaders to show?
Yamiche, what's unsubstantiated about the video? The video shows crosses that represent the dead bodies of people who were racially persecuted by their government. In fact, the Associated Press, of all places, has a picture of that very monument, and the caption from the Associated Press is, "Each cross marks a white farmer who has been killed in a farm murder." So it is substantiated, not just by that video and the physical evidence that everybody saw on display in the Oval Office, but also by another outlet in this room, the Associated Press. So you should take it up with them if you believe the claim is unsubstantiated, and that's a ridiculous line of questioning. John, go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Man, it's so nice to have competency in the White House. My God. Bravo, Carolyn Levitt. Bravo. All right, let me put up the disclaimer here. Deb is asking, how do I get your stand-up set? Well. I don't know. I'm now at the point where I could say I'm comfortable. I compare myself to the other people doing stand-up. I'm on par. I'm on par with what they're doing. I'm bringing interesting stuff. I'm bringing funny stuff. I'm bringing timely stuff. Absurd. I'm getting some laughs. I've been really leaning into my RFK. I don't know many people that are doing a better RFK. Of course, Kyle Dunnigan, I mean, he's a legend. He does some of the best impersonations on planet Earth. But I don't see a lot of people doing many Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s. Maybe I should get on Kill Tony as RFK. I'd have to get a gray suit that's super tight. Like, I would need to get a suit that's very tight across my broad shoulders. Kenneth in front of a microphone at a comedy place. At my age, it would be more of a sit-down set, not a stand-up set. Yeah, I know. I would mention this show. Absolutely. Deb saying that I highlight the stories that you watch, which matters to you. Thank you. And hopefully I hope sometimes I bring stories you weren't even aware of. Oh, shit. You know what I forgot to do? The irrelevant part of the Daily Show. Let me jump to the irrelevant part of the Daily Show. Can I? Let's just tell you what's going on in the world of sports. Just a quick update. I know maybe not big sports people here, but let's find out what's going on. So let's see. SGA won the MVP for the Oklahoma City Thunder, if you missed that one. Yesterday, Florida beat Carolina in the NHL, and Oklahoma City whooped on Minnesota, winning by 15. So let's show you the latest brackets because it's playoff season. Playoffs. Florida's up 2-0 over the Hurricanes. And Dallas is up 1-0 on the Oilers. Game 2 in that series is today. Game 3 in Panthers Hurricanes will be tomorrow. That is your hockey update. Really not much else to say. In the playoffs bracket in the NBA, I did mention that Pacers-Knicks series. Wow, Knicks choked. Pacers came roaring back. And look, as a Cleveland Cavalier fan, I mean, the Cavs were up 19 points in that closeout game, and we blew it. We blew it, and Indiana Pacers earned it. They came back. They are well coached. They are resilient. They're the best that they can be down the stretch when their backs are against the wall. They're a dangerous team. Do not sleep on the Pacers' ability to win this whole damn thing. I don't know who I'm rooting for. I'm probably rooting for a franchise that has never won a championship. I don't know if that's the Timberwolves, Thunder, Pacers. I don't remember the Timberwolves ever getting one since they were an expansion team in the 90s or late 80s, I believe. Thunder, expansion team. Well, I mean, they were the Seattle Supersonics, so if that counts, I don't know. But Oklahoma City's never celebrated a championship, and they had Durant, Harden, and Westbrook. Couldn't get it done. So I'd be okay with either of them winning. Pacers, Knicks, I don't think they've won in my lifetime. So this might be a situation in the NBA where I'll be kind of happy whoever wins, whoever earns it. So game 3 will be on the 24th, which is tomorrow for Thunder Timberwolves. And then, we got our game 2 today at 8 p.m. Pacers at Knicks. Pacers at Knicks. That's my sports update. Probably a few other stories I could have touched on, but I do the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. These are some wooden coasters. If anybody wants some, shoot me a Venmo, $25. Wooden made, Ohio made. 4 really thick wooden coasters, laser embossed. In the Venmo, just tell me your address, and if you want the circle ones, the Unhappy Hour, or the Ohio shaped ones, I'll send 1 pack of each for $50, shipping included. Then there's the pin right there at the bottom. $25 for the pin. So $75 for all 3. 30 for 1 or 50 for both of the coasters. But yeah, that's my sports show, and I'll do more sports on the sports show. But I really was jumping to the irrelevant. Sports is irrelevant. Mike Polk Jr. does a famous rant. He's yelling at Cleveland Browns Stadium and calls them a factory of sadness. Well, he goes, now look, I know that there's way more important things going on in this world than sports, and you are supposed to be my pleasant distraction from those things. But instead, all you do is make me miserable every Sunday. See you next week. It is the irrelevant, though. But I love them. I think at their highest form, they're not just bread and circus. They're not just irrelevant. As a kid that grew up, you like pool and ice skating and darts. I mean, hey, those are fun. I went to a bar. I went to a really cool place. I would go back to this joint. Forget the name of it, though. That would be helpful to remember. With some comedians. I've been hanging out with comics, which is cool. And this bar had like a free play video arcade machine. We could play like Mortal Kombat, the Simpsons video game, and they're all free. I was like, all right, I'm in. And they had a foosball table, played some foosball. They had one of those sliding things with those little discs, those pucks on the sand with the wooden. It's kind of like you're playing curling minus the ice. Yeah, I would go back there. Darts. I love playing any sort of bar games. I love competing. But at their highest level, competition, games, and sports are supposed to teach us about stick-to-itiveness, training, focus, clarity, intuition, reflexes, trusting the coaches, trusting the system, outsmarting, outworking, resilience, dealing with loss, reining in the look at me when you're winning. Some of that goes, some of that's fine, but like people can take it way too far because, brother, you're going to get humbled quick. I've learned so many of my most important life lessons from sports. There's no ambiguity there. And I'm super excited because my cousin, Justin, has signed up with our new head football coach with my high school alma mater. He's been a coach for a couple of years now. And I reached out to the coach and said, hey, I've seen that our team's been kind of bad for the last couple of years. Can I pick your brain? Like, what's going on with that? And he gave me a couple things. I'm like, okay. I said, I played on those 2 back-to-back undefeated teams that went to the playoffs both years. Playoffs. And the team that went to the state championship. I said, the thing that they had that maybe your teams don't have was a chaplain. I said, I was surprised one day when I came in and my uncle was set to give a speech to my team, and I was embarrassed. He's a Southern Baptist preacher. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Who did this? Why is this happening? I wasn't a senior. Like, there are people older than me, like kind of pseudo, like making fun of me or whatever. I'm like, oh God, what's going to happen? Now, I'll tell you what, man, Uncle Bruce crushed it. He's a motivational speaker, and he became our team chaplain. And it was something like that for those next 2 years that kept us together, kept us grounded, kept us focused, resilient, and familial. Because these high school kids, they're going through a lot. you have no idea what's going on at home in their personal lives or with their raging hormones and their interpersonal relationships and their grades and their future. Like, there's a lot, but when you can sort of work the aspect of an eternal soul into the equation, it sort of gives you a little bit more perspective that helps you balance, not everything happening to me is the end of the world, and not everything is so serious. And there's higher goals to attain in life. And look, they're all intermeshed. It's one handshake, handshaking each other. So it's super cool that I've been able to connect my cousin, my uncle's child. So it'll be 2 generations of Engelman chaplains for the Brunswick Blue Devils, provided all goes well. But we're on a really good path, and fingers crossed. Can't hurt, right? You'd give some good messages, a good rah-rah speech. I mean, geez, I remember that first game when he gave that. We came out, we blew this team out. We were up, I don't know, 56-0 in the first half, something crazy. But we were fired up. But yeah, I think sports is irrelevant. I definitely understand that. But if you go through the process of playing sports and learning these lessons, it'll help you in life. I've heard people say the number one thing they look for with recruiting talent for their companies, they want college athletes. Well, hopefully that applies to, high school athletes as well, but I get it. I mean, you have to be very focused and very dedicated to carry on that path and keep showing up each day. It takes dedication, and you want dedication from your employees. So that is the story there. Kenneth, that's hilarious. Do the players in the NBA have nice calves? The Cavs? Do the Cavs have nice calves? I was bartending once in a place where I wore a t-shirt and shorts. And I was going up. There's a level of stairs from where all the inventory was kept downstairs. Went up the stairs, hit a landing. Walked up the other stairs. Oh, I got to sneeze. Hold on. Oh, that dump button is fantastic. That mute button. Whew, sometimes I'm not fast enough, but walked up the stairs, and one of the other bartenders was behind, and I didn't know. And then I went back to the bar, and I was ringing something in. And she comes over. She's like, "Hey, I was behind you on the stairs. You have really nice calves." And I was like, "Oh, you mean like the Cleveland Cavaliers that came back from a 3-1 deficit in 2016 to defeat the best ever 73 regular season win Golden State Warriors to win a championship?" She looked at me. I looked at her. I went, "Oh, thanks." I'm so awkward. I've never been great at taking compliments. Sometimes I'll go on long-winded explanations or like almost like apologizing for the compliment, or just not knowing how to respond. I know you're supposed to just kind of like nod your head and go, "Oh, thanks," and just accept it and just end it. But I'm always curious. I think there's information that I could glean from asking, like maybe not the calves. It's like if you think someone has nice calves, you tell them. I did not turn around and tell her she had nice anything. I was not a single man at that moment, so I didn't want to give false signals. Although, had I been single, maybe I would have. But I digress. Do the players have nice calves? Nice Cavaliers. Deb is saying she would beat us at pool, Blake and I. I can make a lot of shots. Finishing it off, sealing the deal, like, I don't know. Maybe I got some more to learn there. Darts, I don't know. I would play anybody. Deb's competitive too, but in a fun way. And you like gaming, of course. Oh, like video gaming. Cavs lives matter. Jay Dobbs, what's up, Jay Dobbs? How are you? Wow. What's up, Jay? Jay posts interesting stuff in the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. And Jay, are you in the Agree to Disagree show too? I don't know if you are. You should be if you're not. And Deb is saying, just own it. All right, I'll just own it, Deb. All right, let's put the countervailing views up because we're about to talk medicine, and that's something that the deep state powers that be, funded by Big Pharma, don't want you to hear about. But here's Dr. Drew, an actual fucking doctor who's allowed to have an opinion. Yes, let's listen to what he has to say with Laura Ingraham about what's going on with young men and what the government was peddling and pushing and forcing us to participate in.
Nothing like this has been attempted. And in fact, what we see in the previous 4 years was attempt at squashing and covering up anyone who dared to come up against the narratives that they were pushing. Senator Ron Johnson just had a hearing where he revealed the extraordinary evidence of myocarditis in young males, and that the administration and the FDA and the NIH knew about it and suppressed this information, leading God knows how many kids to serious illness and potentially death. Now we're talking about doing something. There were several interesting things in this report. One was, you mentioned the obesity and the chronic illness, 1,400% increase in medicine prescribing to young people, and yet they are sicker than ever. 1,400%. We expect solutions in a pill. They're not there. Solutions are in a spiritual growth, in our families, in attending to the mental health of these kids, giving them proper nutrition, limiting exposures of all types. Listen, we live in a time when everyone expects life to be made better by medical interventions, pills, vaccines, you name it. I was raised by a family practitioner, and he hammered into me that any medicine, any time you interact with the medical system, it is dangerous, and you must be able to prove that the risk is dramatically outweighed by the rewards. And we just haven't even asked the questions, and finally the questions are being asked.
God bless Bobby Kennedy. Thank you, Dr. Drew, for bringing this issue up on the Ingraham angle. We've been working for many years, and now with the HHS, trying to find a solution to many of these problems. Seriously, God bless Dr. Drew and the other people who are finally speaking up. Here's Clay Travis saying, Angel Reese has middle school boys basketball level offensive skill. The fact that anyone gets paid for this is crazy to me. She's here in this dark jersey, gets a rebound, dribble, bumps into someone, takes a shot, crappy shot, tips it, goes and gets it, bounces, dribbles, shoots it. That's garbage. Bounces, shoots it, blocked, garbage, takes it, bounces, looks, shot, blocked. Just trash. And she's the one who's always up in Caitlin Clark's face, jealous AF. That Angel Reese is an absolute clown, and this series proves it. This offensive series is what I'm saying. Just to kind of get back to the sports angle there a little bit. Okay, Jay is saying, yes, he is in the Agree to Disagree show group in Facebook. That's awesome. Yeah, I thought so. I'm trying to remember. I juggle a lot of things. Mila Joy is saying, was Anita Dunn the auto pen? She says it's looking like it. It's being reported that she was the one running our country. More to follow. Is Anita Dunn a man? Or is Anita Dunn a woman? I don't know. I gotta talk about this now. Hey, take a look at this. Concerned Citizen is talking about what is going on with nicotine that the public doesn't know. I was having this conversation the other day. Nicotine pouches are all the rave. Why is that? Let's take a listen.
Nicotine pouches are all the
This is from Culture Apothecary with Alex Clark.
rave. You're seeing RFK popping them, Tucker Carlson talking about them. What is going on with nicotine that the public doesn't know?
And as a former smoker, I know, and having studied, I was in cognitive neuroscience. I was in, what was that one? Clinical psychology. That was psych. What the hell was that? Psych 435 or something. Cognitive neuroscience. I've taken a lot of biology level, next level courses, and nicotine is a creative agent. It's a focus agent. It's a calming agent. It's a functionality. Like there's a lot of positivity that comes from nicotine. Cigarettes, they don't have tobacco leaves. They have an almost unknowable number of chemicals and nicotine and tobacco leaves. You can get American Spirits, well, not a sponsor, but I believe that's just tobacco leaves without all the extra poison. So what's going on with everyone popping nicotine pouches?
Nicotine is not addictive. Parkinson's disease can be prevented and can be cured and its symptoms reversed.
By the way, for countervailing views on health and elections, cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control. Because the powers that be might not want you to hear anything that Dr. Drew said or anything they're saying here about Parkinson's and all the other stuff.
And can be cured and its symptoms reversed with nicotine alone. Nicotine is known to medical science to be a curative agent and a preventative agent for Alzheimer's. Did you know that nicotine also can cure the symptoms of hypothyroidism?
I have Hashimoto's.
You should be on nicotine.
You would be okay putting a nicotine patch on a kid?
Yeah. Are potatoes and french fries dangerous?
Now, see, critics say that you are spreading dangerous misinformation when you talk about this stuff.
It is very dangerous for big pharma. There's one nutrient called nicotine in tobacco products. There are 15 man-made addictive chemicals called pyrazines in every single one of them. Tobacco is the highest containing nicotine plant on earth. The second highest are all your nightshade vegetables, eggplant, tomatoes, white potatoes, cauliflower, celery, bell peppers. Glioblastomas were proven in 2021 to be cured by nicotine alone. There is no more important message or video that should be seen than this one for the whole world. It could single-handedly protect all of humanity.
This episode might get me in some major trouble. Nicotine pouches.
For Hashimoto's. Interesting. Deb says, Anita is done. She says, Ken, see what I did there? Taking a page from your book. Kenneth goes, Deb, I have nothing more to teach you. The student has become the master. If nothing more to teach you. You guys crack me the fuck up. All right, so dig into nicotine. Do your own research and learn. Oh, this is the same interaction?
White farmers who have been killed and politically persecuted because of the color of their skin. And those crosses are representing their lives. Those crosses are representing...
Shame on these people. Yamiche Alcindor. I don't know. Is that MSNBC? They should revoke her access. Carolyn Levitt posted this. Wait, this is from 2 weeks after the election, but regardless, 60 Minutes slammed Pete Hegseth for having no government experience. Newsflash, the Pentagon is full of people with decades of government experience, and they just failed their 7th audit in a row. The American people reelected President Trump with a resounding mandate because they want drastic change. That's why he's choosing change makers like Hegseth to join him in the swamp. 60 Minutes doesn't get it, and they never will. Amuse puts this out, says it's a cover-up. Here's the auto pen. Ed Martin says a whistleblower exposed Biden's auto pen pardon scandal. The same machine-signed signature appears on pardons for Fauci and Milley. Insiders named Klain, Dunn, Bauer, Ricchetti, and Jill Biden. In summer lawyering up, Comer calls it the biggest scandal in U.S. history, and Trump calls it treason. So President Trump blocked Harvard's ability to accept international students after revoking hundreds of millions of dollars in federal funding from the university. And then a judge just reversed it, which is crazy. Here's Mike Benz explaining Radio Free Europe is an intelligence network, not a media network. That's why it was run by Central Intelligence Agency at its founding. It is inconceivable, undreamable that we'd allow that network to be mainly funded by a foreign body, one who wants Trump gone to boot. Saying if you ever had any doubt that the CIA and blob media are no longer primarily serving U.S. interests, burn this into your brain. The U.S. government has cut funds to its first major CIA-created media network, Radio Free Europe, and now a foreign body is funding it to keep it afloat. Go figure. So here you go. Scott Jennings wants to call out the left for championing all the worst things right to their faces because of what's happening now. I mean, you just had 2 Jewish delegates gunned down in DC with a clown shouting, doing that dopey rhyme, the free Palestine. And now Scott is bringing receipts to CNN. Let's see what they have to say for themselves. Oh, let me switch the screen size here so that you can see this. Here we go.
If you would like to discuss the relative gatherings of anti-Semitism in this country going on over the last few months, and you want to talk about who's getting together where and what their political proclivities are, let's talk about what's gone on all these college campuses. Let's talk about what's gone on the streets of New York City. And he is talking about the policy. He did have strong pro-Israel policies. He did take a hard line against Iran. And right now the U.S. government is constantly loosey with the football, trying to deal with Hamas. The anti-Semitism problem in this country is on the left. It is not on the right.
No.
If you guys want to poo-poo what we have seen on the streets of America in the wake of October the 7th, the amount of ugly anti-Semitic people ripping down the posters of hostages. These are not Republicans ripping them down, okay? You cannot deny what we have seen in America since October the 7th, and it has only to do with one thing. Anti-Semitism is on the rise, and there are people who feel like now is the time to let it out, and it is ugly.
Marjorie, Jewish
You're making a tactical argument, and everybody sitting at this table knows where the source of anti-Semitism is in this country. It is not on the right. It is not. So you're saying one person who got invited to a stupid dinner versus the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of progressive activists in the streets, that's the equivocation?
Actually, that's an insane equivocation for you. These college kids who are wrong, I have denounced those.
Well, that's your party now. Those are your people. Those are the people you seek to represent.
Yeah, because I would never belong to a party.
That's your coalition. You would like.
That is your coalition. I knew these people were going to be violent, unhinged lunatics. And I got pushed back from one of my libertarian buddies, like, you take it easy, like trying to paint with a broad brush. I'm like, they're nut jobs. They're fucking nut jobs. I'm not supposed to say that. Well, if somebody on the right did something bad, you wouldn't paint with a broad brush on them. Come on. The left, they're domestic terrorists. Praising Luigi, praising this type of Jew hate. You don't have to love Jews. Why would you care? But like the rampant, murderous, vitriolic, nonstop barrage of it. I mean, we were in Chicago. That was the whole thing. It was like you were in the Middle East. They were all cosplaying as Palestinians. They all had the flags and the headgear. And it's like, what is going on? They were yelling at the Democrats because they weren't being mean enough to Israel. I don't know. I hate the topic. John B. Wells laid out a whole bunch of interesting stuff to say. I bet John B. and Blake Wally are pretty similarly aligned. And who knows? Are they right? Are they wrong? They might be. Do your research, fine. But the left are the same people that put on their different costumes called Antifa and BLM and burned America down in 2020. At the urging of the media, at the urging of the Democrat Party. Minnesota Freedom Fund, Kamala Harris funding these violent people to get them out. Trying to attack the people that were defending their hometowns and the places they worked. From the Democrat mob. Same Democrat mob that tried to explode Trump because they knew they couldn't beat him in Butler, Pennsylvania. So, that's your party, Democrats. That's your party. All right, moving on. Laura Logan, who licensed some of my footage, said, this is awkward. President Ramaphosa is now caught on tape saying that land from white South African farmers must return to our people without any fail and without any payment of compensation, and it must happen now. Real Donald Trump should play this video at the next meeting with Ramaphosa and ask him if he still denies that this is happening. Let's listen. Why are these quiet? Are these quiet on your side? These clips seem quiet to me, but anyway, here we go.
The question of land, the land of our forefathers and our foremothers must return to our people without any fail and without any payment of compensation. And it must happen now.
And it must happen now. That's theft and that's racist. So, yeah. Angry Fleas here. So, that's not accurate. That is incorrect. Geez, these two are just going back and forth. Pelosi, the narrative, House rules were not followed. They did what they pleased. In spite of House rules, Republicans were invited to participate. McCarthy submitted 5 names, but when Pelosi rejected 2 due to potential conflicts, he pulled all 5 instead of offering replacements. That was his. Anyway, they're going back and forth about Pelosi. House rules clearly state how committees are formed. It was extensively covered at the time how Pelosi openly and defiantly did not follow the rules in creating the J6 committee. That's why it's been called the J6 Unselect Committee. He's saying, learn about fruit from the poison tree. Bannon and Navarro and others are going to make millions from these lawsuits. Angry Fleas says that's not accurate. J6 committee was officially created by the House vote in 21 of June and had legal authority to issue subpoenas. Did everybody figure out at this point that the J6 committee could legally destroy all of its evidence to prove the Trump MAGA insurrection because the committee was never official and it wasn't created according to House rules and its subpoenas weren't real? So, look, they're digging into the J6 Unselect Committee, and I think there have been multiple instances of treason. We'll see if they're ever held accountable for it. Elon Kekimus Maximus, as he goes by now, keeps changing his name. Jesse Pelton. He's on a mission to build Type 1 civilization and restore the biosphere. So he's saying solar power reached 10% of global power generation in April of 25 for the first month on record. Elon says solar power is very obviously the future if you can do elementary math. Compared to the sun, all other energy combined is like caveman burning some twigs. Hey, remember this shit? Luke Radowski's asking, can Trump put this guy in prison for this crime? Take a look.
Free fries when you get vaccinated? I got vaccinated. You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries?
What a fucking asshole.
But there's also a burger element to this? Let me check with Bill Neathart. Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? No. This could be breakfast?
Come on, did he say Bill Retard? I mean, if that was a Freudian slip, let me hear this again.
Let me check with Bill Neathart. Is it too early in the day to eat a burger? No. This could be breakfast? Okay.
Oh, I hate
I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination.
Okay. Does anybody else want to reach through the computer screen and grab this guy? Don't you want these delicious, delectable, salty fries? What do you say, Bill Retard? Oh, now I know there's some people that are vegan, but, you know, I want to respect that. But does this look delectable? Go get a vaccine. You do not hate these people enough. God, he needs a warrant burger. Hey, Kenneth, the warrant burger. It comes with cherry pie. Cool drinking water, such a sweet surprise. Thank you. Thank you. Comes with a cool cherry pie. This is so stupid. If you missed that reference, you're too young or you're too old. If you got the reference, you're smart and have a great sense of humor. A warrant burger. Oh, I hate this guy so much.
appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination.
How many people have been injured because of this guy?
I'm getting a very good feeling.
Oh, a very good feeling? Like myocarditis, you fucking prick. For countervailing views on health and elections, go visit cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control.
About vaccination right this moment. Free fry.
Oh, my God. Check out our show from 2 days ago about the House passing the big, beautiful bill. Or is it a budgetary boondoggle? Both. Check out that show. It's a good one. Here's Bobby Kennedy. These 453-page confusing dietary guidelines. What is Bobby going to do about this?
We're reducing the dietary guidelines from a 453-page document that we inherited from the Biden administration. That was driven by the same industry impulses that put Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid. We're going to deliver instead of 4 or 5-page document.
Poor Fruit Loops. They're always the company that Bobby references when they talk about the absurdity of the food pyramid. I mean, they've earned it. Whatever. Screw them. And I'll tell you, as a recovering cereal addict, I just wonder how my life would have been different if I didn't just wolf down millions of boxes of cereal. I don't know.
Put Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid. We're going to deliver instead a 4 or 5-page document that tells people how to give healthy food to their children. Those dietary guidelines will then drive changes in the school lunch programs all over this country.
That's fantastic. It's time to drive some changes. Deb is saying, Brian, I have to be careful drinking coffee because you make me laugh and it goes up my nose. Good. Then I'm over the target.
We are writing SNAP waivers every day to the states that are applying for them so that sodas and candies are no longer available using food stamps.
Yep.
Taxpayers should not be paying.
Don't pay for poison. Exactly. Can't buy alcohol or cigarettes with it.
Taxpayers should not be paying for food-like substances that are chemically based that are poisoning our population.
How did he phrase that? Food-like substances?
For food-like substances that are chemically based that are poisoning our population.
Bravo. Food-based substances. Let's go. Here's a female student at Lucia Mar Unified. I don't know where this is. Does it say United School District? No, still not saying, but let's take a listen. You got to be aware of what's going on in your schools and what's going on with your kids and what groomers are being allowed to speak into their ears to try to warp their ideology. Never let your kids be warped by madmen and madwomen pushing this shit. Take a listen.
My name is Audrey Van Herweg. I am a junior at AGHS High School, and I'm in varsity shot put and discus thrower for our track team. I haven't had to throw against a boy on the girls' team, but if I did, it wouldn't be fair because men and women are biologically different. The boys throw a 12-pound shot about 50 feet, while girls throw an 8-pound shot 35 feet. That's a big difference. I strongly disagree with what is going on in the girls' locker room and on the girls' track team. So much so that I change in my car for track practice because I feel way more comfortable in my car than in our own school's locker room. After coming to the last few meetings and watching teammates attack a person they don't agree with, I wanted to speak up to support my teammate and to protect women's sports. Thank you.
If your chromosomes include a Y in sports, you must compete with guys. I coined that. Actually, I'm going to put that as a post. If your chromosomes? How the fuck do you spell chromosomes? Oh, that's what it's going. Chromosomes include a Y in sports, you must compete with guys. Agree or disagree? Agree. Disagree. Should I add a third option? I'd probably say too yellow-bellied to... Anyway. Harvard is not what it seems. Watch all 11 minutes here to begin to understand the scale of what you're up against at Harvard. Here's Mike Benz on Real America's Voice on War Room. Go check this out. Too long to play. Listen to what Aaron Rodgers is talking about with Joe Rogan. This is what I was saying about I don't want to go to the doctors ever.
Majority of doctors during this process will not touch diet at all.
Yeah.
And will tell you diet makes zero difference.
Can you believe that they're not focused on diet? Because they don't make money off of it. They're a bunch of fucking drug dealers is what they are. Man, I've had a sailor mouth today, haven't I? I guess I'm just a little fired up. But if this shit isn't getting you fired up, you better check your pulse, pal.
And my problem is the same problem I had with the vaccine and really the medical industry in general is there's no more informed consent.
Right.
The informed consent around cancer would be that it's a metabolic issue.
And go to cdc.gov, who.int, and cisa.gov/rumor control for countervailing views. I tell you, under duress.
Because it's a metabolic issue and you're talking about anaerobic cells, then restricting sugar from your diet is a good place to start.
Yeah.
And none of these fucking doctors will talk about diet, sugars, glucose, anaerobic cells, nothing.
No, someone I'm close
We
to.
do radiation and chemo.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, it's very profitable.
Extremely
That's the problem is chemotherapy. Doctors are incentivized in a way to prescribe
as
chemotherapy.
vaccines.
Yes. Yeah, they're both profitable,
Yep.
which is really dangerous. It's really dangerous when you make more money if you give people medication, because then you get doctors like that doctor in Ohio that got arrested that was giving chemotherapy to people that didn't have cancer. He did it to like a lot of people. He just was trying to make more money.
Yeah.
And when you incentivize, and they're in that kind of a position of power where most people don't know what's going on, and this is the voice of authority, and they're like, look, your diet doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. They told it to someone close to me that got cancer. Diet doesn't matter at all. Well, of course it matters. It matters to everything.
You starve it of sugar. I've heard that forever. If you get cancer, if you get some, you starve your entire body of sugar, not a single drop of sugar, because sugar's poison. Maybe everybody hasn't heard that. I've heard that. Shit. Can I tell you something I'm super proud of? I am feeling better. I'm feeling lighter, feeling looser, feeling better. I've been doing 3-day fasts each week. Now, they haven't been exactly pristine. With a rare exception here or there, or maybe this day I had a beverage, or this day I had a beverage, and then 2 days ago, I did split a thin crust pizza. I had a few slices with one of my comedy buddies. That was the first time I'd eaten in almost 72 hours. But, man, I'm down. I am down. I have dropped a few. Not exactly where I want to be. And part of my problem has been I do some workout routines, and I feel good doing the workout. And then my shoulders would hurt like hell, and it would throw me off of the entire routine, and then I'd lose the workout plan, and then I'd be back to square one. I guess I was just overdoing the amount of weight because I was lifting it with ease, or, a little bit of strain, but I was fine. But I was overdoing it with the workouts, which led me to quit working out because it was too painful, so I would stop. And yeah, I'm on 2 weeks now of doing 2.5, 3-day fasts, and I feel great right now. I am down into and I kind of break things down into like weight ranges of 10. 0 through 9 or 0 through 10. 10 through 20, 80 through 90, 90 through 100, or what, whatever. I am down several of these in the past year and a half. And in the last couple months, I'm down 1 or 2 of them again. A total of like 3 or 4 of them. Something like that. I don't know. But man, they say that like your cells will regenerate if you just don't feed them. If you just stop adding, especially if you're adding seed oils and sugars. Everybody must consult with their doctor. Don't ever take any advice from me, but yeah, I think everybody can fast if they wanted to. It's been a major part of religions all across the globe for time immemorial. There's some sort of knowledge to it, but I think my thoughts are clearer. I'm stronger. I'm more focused. I think. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that I'm feeling kind of good. So I had some pizza, and then yesterday I was like, I'm going to eat today. So I had mulberries. That was awesome. Had some oranges. Was there another fruit that I had? And then I had 3 eggs. 4 eggs or 3 eggs? 4 eggs. And a can of salmon. And an apple. Like, that's what I ate for the day. It was very clean, actual normal food. Real food. So I went to jump on the scale today. I'm like, I ate berries. I ate eggs in the morning. I had salmon. I had some stuff. I'm like, because in some ways it's like I'll do the fasting, and that's kind of the only thing that helps me. The only thing that really moves the needle on the scale. And I was like, well, I'm back to eating again, so I bet you the weight's going to start going up when I jump on that scale. I lost 2 more pounds. I was like, fuck yeah. Let's go. Chorizo eggs, man. Yeah, Jesus and Moses did fasting. David fasted in the Bible. No, 3-day fast, not a 3-day gas. Although, you know what else I had yesterday? Sorry, I had one more thing. I had gas-causing refried beans. I had I'm looking in my pseudo ghost town of a pantry, going, what do I even have here? Pop some refried beans, put some hot sauce on, had half a can. I was like, this is good. No gas. And then, I dropped another pound or 2 this morning. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Need to make sure I'm still doing my walking. Might start adding some weights again. I'm going to drop the amount of weights. And to be clear, also, I've been doing shoulder exercises. So I'm doing this one with the weights. I'm doing like the straight ahead raises. I'm doing the open arm raises. I'm not doing shrugs. What's the other? Oh, I'm doing the press above the head. So, yeah. Anyway, just got me thinking about it. Cutting out the sugar. Yeah, well, fruit's all sugar. I kind of feel like it's different. I think real food is different. I'll take that thought to my grave. But yeah, I mean, there was a decade or 2 where I thought, can't believe it's not butter was better than butter, because it just all the chemicals. I shudder to think at how I used to live and how my life could have been different if I took different care of myself. Because, I mean, it's easy to fluctuate. Kenneth does weights. He waits in line. Anyway, back to Rogan. But it just got me thinking.
And this is the voice of authority. And they're like, look, your diet doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. They told it to someone close to me that got cancer. Diet doesn't matter at all. Well, of course it matters. It matters to everything. And it certainly matters to your metabolic health and your fucking immune system.
Yeah.
And then we know for a fact that cancer thrives on glucose.
Yeah.
If you're in like a high sugar diet and a highly processed food diet, you're ripe for inflammation. You're going to get all kinds of inflammation that you wouldn't get if you were on a restricted diet that's higher in animal fats and low in processed sugar.
Yeah, ketogenic diet is a great place to start because you're restricting your body.
But there was another article recently about how ketogenic diets are giving people cancer. Or that people are getting heart attacks and strokes on ketogenic diets.
Is that by the American Medical Association written by them? Or?
It's probably by the same people that.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
Majority of doctors.
All right, moving on. So Kid Cudi has testified that Diddy stood like a Marvel supervillain. This is according to Kirko. Diddy stood like a Marvel supervillain after his Porsche was firebombed. Kid Cudi took the stand to testify about an incident where his Porsche was set on fire when he briefly dated Cassie. He said Cassie warned him Diddy had found out about their relationship shortly before his home was broken into. His security cameras had been tampered with. His dog was found locked in a bathroom and acting traumatized. Later, a Molotov cocktail was thrown into his Porsche after a hole had been cut into the roof. Photos of the burned vehicle were shown in court, and Cudi confirmed he believed the act was intentional. Well, it didn't fall from the fucking sky. It's not raining. It's raining Molotov cocktails. Cudi later confronted Diddy at Soho House, calling the encounter weird and describing Diddy as standing there like a Marvel supervillain. At the time, Diddy alleged denying knowing anything about the car. Years later, Cudi says Diddy apologized, saying, "I'm just sorry for all that bullshit. I back Kid Cudi." Who do you work for? I'm an actor and a musician. Scott Mescudi, known as Kid Cudi. Cassie, we dated in 2011. She was also involved with Combs. They had some problems and weren't dating anymore. 2011 of December. At the end of the year, did law enforcement respond? Yep, break in. Cassie called at 5 or 6. Cassie said to pick her up, so I did. She was worried. Stressed and worried. We went to the Sunset Marquee. I thought it was safe and off the radar. Spoke with Capricorn Clark, who sounded near tears, saying that Combs was in the car near my house. Objection overruled. Sean Combs, you called him? I did. He said, I am over here waiting for you. When you arrived, what did the outside look like? Pretty normal. Security camera? Yeah, but I found out they weren't working. The security cameras had been moved? But I didn't move them. Gifts were open, some stuff I got from Chanel, and my dog was locked up in the bathroom. What did Diddy do to Kid Cudi's dog over the girl, man? Yeah, 50 Cent's just laughing his ass off at all this. He hates Diddy and hates all that stuff. This guy, Young Thug, this rapper, calls out Kid Cudi for testifying against Diddy in a now deleted tweet. Damn. Cudi a rat. LOL. Damn, Cudi a rat. LOL. Well, you know what? I got a real problem with this rat stuff. This defending dirtbags and monsters. You know what happens when you defend a dirtbag and a monster? You become a dirtbag and a monster. Does that make sense? Is that clear? I lived in the hood for a decade and a half, and I know some people, some old heads. Oh, they'll defend so-and-so just because they're another black kid on the block or just because they grew up here. I don't give a shit what you look like or what you grew up like. If you act like a monster, you're a fucking monster and you need to be out of Gen Pop. You lose your free-range privileges. Defending someone because of what they look like, defending someone over skin pigmentation is devilish. Letting a monster terrorize your neighborhood, your community kids, your community elderly, terrorized by a monster just because you don't want to be a rat? How about this? You're the fucking rat if you're not going to defend your family and your friends in your neighborhood. You're the fucking loser. You're not a rat. You're a hero if you're going to defend yourself. It's 5% of the people causing 95% of the problems wherever you go. And it's the Democrat rat. Emphasis on rat. You can call them demon rat. All of these George Soros-backed prosecutors who let the real rats out of jail to go back into your neighborhood to fuck shit up again, they are the real rats. This young thug, fuck you. He's a rat. A rat. A pejorative. Because he's accurately describing a monster fucking with his dog. Have you seen John Wick? Blew up his car. How about fuck you, young thug? You piece of shit. It's assholes like you that are fucking up your inner cities. It's assholes like you that are fucking up our society and our culture. What do I mean by our? No, I don't give a shit about white, black, or anything else. It's about actions, attitude, and expectations. Have some expectations, drop the fucking attitude, and help the good guys lock up the fucking monsters. Fuck you, young thug. Kid Cudi's not a rat. You're the fucking rat. You're the disease-riddled little vermin gnawing at the drywall of society, carrying your rabies into good communities and fucking them up. Fuck you. I dealt for 15 fucking years with a handful of assholes fucking everything up for everybody. And it takes somebody with some fucking courage to stand up to the dipshits and help put him the fuck away. He's a rat. You're the fucking rat. How about we put Diddy, that piece of shit, into a cage so he never sees Gen Pop again. No more free range privileges for that piece of shit, that abusing fucking monster. Diddy's the rat, and you're a fucking rat for defending him, you piece of garbage. Fuck you. And fuck everybody like you that's going to say, oh, no, you can't talk to the cops. You're a fucking rat. You can't help them get rid of the dirtbag. Yeah, they're the reason why the drive-by just happened. Yeah, they're the ones that let the pit bull out to attack that kid. Yeah, they're the ones stealing all the packages off your porch. Fucking tell the good guys to go grab the bad guys and hold them fucking accountable. 15 fucking years I dealt with idiots in that neighborhood that wouldn't call out the rats, the real rats. Those fucking opportunists breaking into vehicles, setting shit on fire, spraying graffiti all over your building like it's their fucking building. It's not their fucking building. It's not their shit to steal. And they sure as shit had no business bringing all that bullshit around the neighborhood. 10 people causing 95% of the fucking problems. Oh, but we don't want to be a rat. Oh, I don't want to be a snitch. Well, then fuck you, you fucking coward. That's why your city looks like shit. That's why your neighborhood looks like shit. That's why the kids can't read. That's why they're on 4 generations of fucking welfare with low expectations, you fucking assholes. Defending Diddy and bashing Cudi. Fuck you, young thug. Fuck right the fuck off. Raise your expectations. Go after the monsters and confront them. Or get the fuck out of here. "15 fucking years. I dealt with a neighborhood that would just turn the other, I don't know. I don't want to get involved. Yeah. Oh, like I do? Oh, yeah. I love waking up and having this burden of bullshit that isn't mine. But when a pit bull is unleashed into my front yard to rip the throat out of one dog and the entrails out of the other as it's bleeding out in my front yard, as an elderly lady next door is crying on her knees, ready to be the next attack victim, as I go out trying to help, calling for police, calling for private security, and then I get chased by 3 loose pit bulls into the neighbor's house. Oh, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to point out who did it. I don't want to be a snitch. I don't want to be a rat. Fuck you. Oh, it's one trap house in the neighborhood bringing 300 junkies out of their fucking mind, zombies, stealing everything not nailed down, breaking and entering into our private fucking homes. Well, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to be a rat. Fuck you, you fucking coward. Fuck you, young thug, and fuck anyone out there who's going to have that childish, immature, pussy mentality that's going to let you get steamrolled by a dirtbag like Diddy. God bless you, Kid Cudi. May all of God's angels continue to protect you and everyone else that speaks out against the real fucking rats. The junkies and the abusers who are ruining our goddamn society. Fuck you. In the clearest possible terms. Stand up for your goddamn self. Stand up for your kids and your elderly. Stand up for your fucking neighborhood and call out the demons. Be the rat. Be the fucking rat. Because you know what? You're not a rat. You're being a goddamned hero. You know who the rats are? Young thugs. Fucking idiots. Junkies, deadbeats, losers, thieves, criminals, breaking and entering dudes. You all can go to hell because you're the real rats. God bless you, Kid Cudi, Cleveland native. I got your back, dude. In no uncertain terms do I have your back. Thank you for testifying and putting yourself in the middle of this bullshit because that fucking demon Diddy targeted you one day. Fuck him and fuck all of his ilk. Fuck his whole scheme. Fuck Epstein. Fuck all of the deep state. Fuck right the fuck off. All of you. Calling him a rat because he went to testify. What other option does he have? He's going to run a drive-by. He's going to handle it himself like a man. Get the fuck out of here with that. I can't remember being this angry at a story. Yes, I can. It's probably the first story that I covered today. Oh, yeah, that's right. When Fauci killed my brother. Okay. So, yeah, I guess I got a lot of stuff I'm sorting out, I suppose. But imagine calling a good guy a rat. And essentially, you're putting a target on him, aren't you? Are you calling to 86 Cudi? Are you low-key kind of snitches get stitches? Something like that? Is that sort of what I'm am I picking up on what you're laying down? Young thug, you fucking fuckwad. Is that kind of what you're up to? Is it snitches get stitches? You're kind of putting a hit out on Cudi? Fuck you. You're the fucking rat. You're defending Diddy. It's a small number of idiots that ruin everything for everybody else. And you have got to go after these people. And you have to put them in a cage so they can't keep fucking everything up. Can't keep fucking everything else up for everybody else. You're the rat for going after Cudi. Fuck you and fuck everybody else that echoes that bullshit. My name's Brian Engelman, and this has been my TED Talk. Do you agree or disagree? I didn't know. I'm not reading off a teleprompter. Nobody wrote that for me. I didn't even know that was exactly how I felt until I started talking. Deb says, spineless cowards are everywhere, unfortunately. John Wick, You never fuck with another man's animal. How dare you not defend Kid Cudi calling out that bullshit? How dare you, young thug, you piece of garbage. Bring back a military or jail option? You got to do one or the other, huh? Watch my blood pressure? Okay, maybe. Deb is saying, I think Mike and Brian need to stop holding back. Don't sugarcoat it. Are you saying Bera is always like that? Oh, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, I do a show with Mike who she's referencing. It's called Strictly Football. Brian Engelman and Mike Bera. Let me take the chat off the. Whoop, there we go. Are you saying Mike Bera raises his blood pressure as well? Gets fired up. I have been on Toxically Masculine Tuesday many times, but we don't get super fired up in our football chat like this very often, but I could see that. Can I get an F-bomb count? Maybe. I mean, guys, please, just, you got to understand this. For 15 years, I lived in the hood. And I was burdened with so much bullshit. I'm not going to unpack it all. I'm not going to go on and on about it. I'm just going to kind of summarize, wrap it up, and give you the overview and move along. But I encountered some of this attitude that, I don't know. I don't want to get involved. I don't. That's so-and-so's kid. I know that the grandfather, he was a good boy. He's not a good boy. He's a fucking monster. And he's fucking everything else up for everybody. And they wanted to stay out of it. And maybe it was a black thing. Oh, we've been so oppressed for so long. We don't want to get the man. We don't want the police involved in our neighborhood. And we don't want him in jail. And jail's just a construct to like keep us down as black men and women. Or there's some of that. And then there was cowardice mixed in. And then there was just like, fuck you, white boy. Like, I don't want to hear anything you have to say ever about anything, like a different kind of weird racism, or like, I'll protect them just because you're against it. Like I was facing like a Trump derangement syndrome. There was a little bit of a Brian derangement syndrome. Like, who the fuck are you to come into my neighborhood and try to fix all of our problems? Oh, okay. Yeah. What you've been doing has clearly been working so far. No. Let's just keep putting Democrat mayors in charge of Chicago and San Francisco and Los Angeles. Let's just see how that works out. No, let's just keep doing the same wrong thing over and over, and let's see how that plays. I'm sure it'll get better if you keep doing the wrong thing always, right? You know, I didn't just work in my neighborhood to make things better. I worked in property management across Southern California, helping all sorts of communities deal with criminal actions and problems. And just that attitude of like, oh, that dude's a rat. You're gonna use a pejorative on somebody that's trying to make your life better. Go to hell. Go straight to hell. Don't collect $200 and get the fuck up out of my face. I dealt with this stuff for years, and it's one of the most glorious things that I'm no longer in that sanitarium, that goddamn crazy house. It was like I was a sane person living inside of an insane asylum. I know I made a difference. I know I fixed a lot of things. I know I helped a lot of people. Sometimes I got the credit. Sometimes this is the ghetto, Brianna. She didn't want us to fix things. Hood was in her heart. This is the ghetto, Brianna. Bitch. Not anymore. Not now. I live here. This is my fucking neighborhood, and I actually have standards like a human should have. You know, so yeah, I just unloaded a little bit of energy that I've been holding on to for a while. Young thug. Fuck you. Thank you, Kid Cudi. And Diddy, piss off. Rest in piss. Go to hell. If half the shit you've been accused of is accurate. And I bet we're only getting 5% of the story, mind you. So anyway. You guys were counting the F-bombs. I have strong feelings on the matter. Deb has never seen me this angry. Yeah, demon rats, demo rats. All right, good. Deb agrees with the rant. Okay, good. Bear does a great rant too. I could see that. No, it's strictly football, not strictly footsie. I don't know what type of OnlyFans or OnlyFeets thing I got going on here, but it ain't that. Bear's Daily Show and Toxically Masculine Tuesday, he lets it rip. I know when Bear gets on a roll, it is kind of funny. Deb says, if more men stood up for what's right, our country would be in a way better place. Fuck yeah. Let's go. Kenneth saying, forgive and let go, Brian. God got this, I feel. And it's gone. I need to go outside, go barefoot, and ground a little bit, right? Connect to the earth. Deb says, if I lost a family member because of COVID and Fauci, I'd be furious too. Life is never the same. Masculinity has been attacked since the 80s. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So that was me covering Young Thug Diddy. Go vote in the poll. 77% are backing Kid Cudi. That gives me hope. Don't you dare hurt another man's dog. You've seen John Wick. All right, let's go to South Africa. Here's another story that should get you all worked up. Thomas Sowell Quotes puts this out, mentioning that there's 140 racist, race-based laws in South Africa. And guess what? All of them are anti-white.
140 race-based laws in South Africa, all anti-white. And 8 days ago, Cyril Ramaphosa, our president, signed into law expropriation without compensation.
So this is in essence, they're taking farms.
Well, they
right?
can.
Yeah.
So they haven't implemented it yet. It's been signed into law.
Yeah.
And it's not just farmland, it's property. They can take the watch off my arm and they barely need to justify it. I mean, I liken it to having a loaded gun in the bedroom with kids running around. At some point, somebody's going to pull the trigger. And that's what this law is. And there's so many other laws in South Africa that are anti-white, race-based, and make it almost impossible for businesses to thrive. Do you know that most African countries have Starlink? We don't, because we have a law that every business in South Africa has to have 30% black ownership. And Elon Musk said, I'm not handing over 30% because I have to. We don't have Starlink.
It's insane.
South Africa needs a big wake-up call, and it isn't going to come internally. 140 race-based laws.
Elon, South Africa's golden child, can't even get his company in there to help his people because he's not a black dude. What does color have to do with anything? It doesn't. People who care about it are the monsters. That's who cares about it. You know what I mean? What a shame. Holyfield says, Kid Cudi really testifying like a hoe. Huh? Readers added context. Kid Cudi was given a subpoena, meaning he has to testify. He is not a hoe for honoring the law. And we said defending dirtbags like Diddy makes no sense. Oh, I didn't rate this one? Yes, I'll rate this as helpful. Easy to understand. Context. Submit. Yes. Put that community note there. So, yeah, Fear Buck says, Young Thug calls Kid Cudi a rat for testifying against Diddy during the trial. And I said, you know what a rat behavior actually is, Young Thug? Do you know? Do you even know? I don't know if he does know. But what I said, whoop, hold on. Gotta hit play on this. There we go. Rat behavior is acting like Diddy and expecting to get away with it. Like a little disgusting, disease-ridden rat gnawing away at the fabric of society. Diddy is a menace, and your support for Diddy is disgusting. All right, moving on as we hit the home stretch here. Charlie Kirk is not a fan of Great Britain. He'll tell you why.
I'm telling you, visiting that totalitarian third world hellhole that unfortunately the UK has become. And it's tragic. I don't say that with glib. I don't say that with delight. It is sad.
With glee.
Britain is why we exist. It's like going back to the life force, and it's chilling and it's depressing. There was one cafe that I drove by in downtown London, and every single table was taken by a Mohammedan and a fully burqa-wearing woman. Not a single native Brit. The entire cafe was taken. I walk shop by shop, and producer Blake, who did a great job preparing us for Oxford and Cambridge, and he deserves a ton of credit for that. He has his antenna up with this stuff. And he was like, I can't believe how much Arabic there is on the stores here. I kid you not. It is store after store. And then we're asked, the Brits say, well, what's the big deal? Why does this matter? I'm not exaggerating this in the slightest. In fact, looking back, I should have probably taken a video with it, but it's not going to get any better. So next time I'll do that. In the hotel I was staying in, I always like watching local TV. So I'm start flipping through the local TV to see that, what are they consuming? I kid you not, 40% of the TV channels in my hotel were Arabic. They had the Yemeni channel, they had the Kuwaiti channel, they had the Oman channel, they had the Iraq TV, they had the Lebanon TV, they had a bunch of Saudi channels, they had the Qatari channel. Not an exaggeration. The entire TV canon. And I stayed in 3 different hotels because we were bouncing all over the place. It was the same at the Hilton Garden Inn at the London Heathrow Airport as it was in Cambridge, as it was in London. All of the TV channels are configured to a Mohammedan population. Let's play cut 318. This clip has been seen tens of millions of times. Play cut 318.
Have you heard of a lady called Lucy Connolly since you've been here?
Of course, I talked about her yesterday, and no one knew what I was talking about in Cambridge.
Who are you talking about? The students didn't know.
I mentioned her because I did the research. My team did an amazing job, and I think she just had her petition denied
in the last hour or so today. It's Tuesday today. She's had her appeal denied, so she's going to be carrying out her 2.5-year sentence for a solitary tweet,
so outrageous,
which she deleted 4 hours later. What's your take on the whole situation?
Well, I'm going to try to get the U.S. State Department involved. I don't know if what their bandwidth is here, but I'm sorry, again, I'm speaking as a citizen, not as the U.S. government. I just want to be very clear. Is this a way that a liberal democracy and an ally of the United States acts? Just to be clear, what she said would not be any prison time in America. I don't like what she said, but she showed contrition. Well, there's 2 parts. The first part where she said, I don't want immigrants in my country. Perfectly acceptable. That's fine. You can say that. You're allowed to have that.
So that is a separate issue that I will talk about, where in the UK, 30 people a day are arrested for offensive social media posts in the UK. 30 people a day. This woman is going to serve 2.5 years in prison for an offensive social media post that she deleted and apologized for. Yep. They invented free speech, sent it back to our country. There's so much wrong with that country, and it is not worthy of making fun of. I mean, you can have some laughs and some comedy, but it is depressing. It is dark. And I came back literally kissing the ground when I came back from London yesterday, because there's a lot of problems with America. But let me give you 2 things that I think we should be thankful for that we don't notice. Of course, freedom of speech, number 1. And then number 2, the spirit of America. When we have a problem, we believe we can solve it. There is this entrepreneurialism. There is this grit. There is this pioneer spirit. And in Britain, they are defeated at the soul. They're like, cheers, mate. Country's done. Let's go drink. What we have is unique, and it's a blessing from the Lord.
Do you agree or disagree? Let's listen to a little bit of this. Jesse Waters talking about the Democrat Party, the domestic terrorists that they are, the enemies of the state. No mincing words. This party is exactly who I've been telling you they are for years now.
So the summer of love is back, and we haven't even made it to Memorial Day. In the last few months, a healthcare exec was assassinated outside his hotel. Teslas started getting firebombed, IVF clinics torched. Oh, and they even tried to burn down Governor Shapiro's house in Pennsylvania. What do they all have in common? They're all leftists, and they're not mostly peaceful.
Nope.
Overnight, a young couple in Washington was executed in cold blood. 2 Israeli diplomats who were in love were gunned down, leaving a Jewish museum. The assassin fired several times. After the victims fell to the ground, video showed the gunman leaning in and firing several more times. As one of them crawled away, the shooter fired again, reloaded, and then shot even more rounds into her body. The suspect was arrested on the scene and went berserk.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Witnesses say before this guy was arrested, security accidentally let him into the museum, thinking he was a victim. And people inside had no idea they were face to face with a killer.
My thought was, this poor man experienced a shooting. Do you need water? I looked the killer in the eyes and said, can I get you water? He said, yes, that would be great. And I walked to get it to him, and I literally handed it off. Unbeknownst to me, moments ago, this man had execution style killed 2 people, not one shot, we're talking multiple gunshots. And I looked evil right in the eye, and there he was. And seconds after I handed him the water, he brandishes the keffiyeh, yells "Free Palestine," and then he's apprehended, and that's how it all unfolded.
So who was this guy? Elias Rodriguez from Chicago. He's 31 and a former member of the Socialism Liberation Party. He's a BLMer and a Biden donor. Reports say on social media, Rodriguez praised Luigi Mangione, the United Healthcare assassin. Neighbors thought something was up.
On the outside of his door, there's a Hello Kitty sign. I mean, he seemed like a normal, friendly guy. There's a picture in his window. Have you seen it? It's a picture of the Palestinian child who was stabbed to death. And that gave me the impression that they were very, very sensitive people, especially about the issue of Palestine.
Just hours ago, tactical teams raided the assassin's apartment. And as we speak, police are combing through a manifesto he published right before the bloodshed. It's reportedly filled with pro-Hamas propaganda. Reports say this assassin posted "Death to America" and "Death to Israel." He also says, "I voted for Hamas." Here's Pam Bondi.
Oh, but I was told over and over again that these pro-Palestine people, they're peaceful. No, they're not terrorists. They're not violent sociopaths.
We'll be doing everything in our power to keep all citizens safe, especially tonight our Jewish community. We will follow the facts. We will follow the law. And this defendant, if charged, will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Now, the New York Times says the FBI is still seeking a motive. Motive?
Huh?
I think everybody knows what the motive is. CNN says it's Trump's fault.
Because of course.
One of my main concerns in the current administration is the fact that so many resources are being diverted to immigration enforcement. And that is a priority of this administration, and that's their prerogative. But at the same time, if they are drawing down resources from counterterrorism.
Liberals are opening the borders and shooting Jews, and CNN's blaming Trump for dropping the ball. CNN called Trump Hitler, but in this case, they don't want to rush to conclusions.
What I saw in his eyes, I mean, I went to Columbia for grad school, and I saw the same thing in his eyes as I saw in the eyes of all the protesters at Columbia. Nothing different between him and them.
Rage and hate.
But they did not create this horrific shooting. They did not, sort of...
what?
They didn't shoot.
They gave permission, and they have called for this. They have called for intifada revolution, which is the same thing he yelled last night.
Do you worry that there will be a...
Anyone want to admit that or push back on that?
Conflation, though, of the two.
A conflation. I mean, they are calling for intifada. At Columbia University, they call for intifada constantly.
Liberals are chanting, "Kill the Jews," and then someone does. And CNN says one thing has nothing to do with the other.
Yes, they do.
Some liberal darlings in the media are giving the shooter kudos.
It's your Democrat Party, people.
Saying the victim had it coming.
This guy was a monster. He was a monster. He was a monster representing a foreign adversarial government currently conducting a Holocaust. And they want us to feel...
Currently conducting a Holocaust. Israel was attacked by Palestine, and they said, we are so tired of getting attacked all the time. You're done. You started a war? Fuck around, find out. They call it a Holocaust. Or is it self-defense? I don't know. I've heard Adam Carolla's take on it. It's like, look, if the Jews don't believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God, why is Israel, why is that area that Jesus walked so important? If that's Christian Holy Land, why isn't that a Christian land? Why are there mosques there if Jesus Christ wasn't the Son of God? Why isn't it a Christian theme park? You know, go to Greenland, go to Iceland, go to some other land and set up a brand new country on the other side of the world for both of them, very separate from each other. You go do your thing over there. Stay away. You guys won't stop fighting each other in the sandbox. I know it's more complicated than that. But that's Adam Carolla's take. What do you say? Send them to Baja, Mexico? Put Israel in Baja, Mexico. They'll have that place turned around in no time. They're very industrious, hardworking people. It's interesting, his take on it. But anyway.
Sorry for him. Even if I hadn't looked at his profile, I would have said that representatives of a genocidal country should not feel safe in America because we're supposed to stand in opposition to that. And now having seen it, good riddance. This guy was a monster.
This morning, Omar wouldn't even condemn the murder.
Of course she wouldn't. What's she doing? Looking nice glasses, dork. David, it's a mess over there.
Congresswoman Omar, can I get your reaction to the shooting that happened in D.C. last night?
I'm going to go for now.
This is the same squad that called us dangerous. Remember, Jazzy Crockett said Republicans were the terrorists.
Y'all got the white supremacists galore, okay? Like,
what about your black supremacists galore, huh?
all of them. You got the Proud Boys. You got
the Proud Boys. Weren't they a reaction to all of your Antifa BLM bullshit? Huh? They weren't going to be intimidated in the streets anymore? Isn't that what that was?
You got the neo-Nazis. You have...
Who? Who are you talking? Who? Name them. Where? Where's this boogeyman you speak of? Who? Huh? I don't even know what you're talking about. Who? Where?
People that literally...
Literally what? That's a stalling word. You don't know where you're going with the next sentence.
Should be classified as domestic terrorists because a lot of times that is what they are doing. They're engaging in domestic terrorism. And
like BLM and Black Lives Matter and Antifa, you mean?
And guess what? They all align with your side inherently in like who you
you
are. Y'all are violent.
Y'all.
Like, y'all and most of your violent.
I'm sorry, y'all are violent? Who's she talking to? We want to pull up crime statistics?
Terrorists, because a lot of times that is what they are doing. They're engaging in domestic terrorism. And guess what? They all align with your side inherently in like who you are. Right. Y'all are violent. Like right. Y'all, and most of your violence has to do with people that's got a little bit of melanin.
The right isn't burning cars and executing people in the street.
No.
It's not Republicans getting tossed out of hearings, kicking and screaming for Hamas.
Government, I cannot live in peace. I will not be silent while there's a genocide going on. Hundreds are dying every day. Hundreds. I won't be silent. You can't do this genocide.
Why did they start a war if they didn't want war conditions? Can we just aside from all of the other, why did they start a war? You know, Blake Wally, John B. Wells, they don't believe that the war was started by Palestine. Not to put words in their mouth, I believe that is the perspective they said. They don't believe that Israel was surprised. I've heard both of them say almost exactly the same thing. A bird couldn't land on the wire of that border without 100 people showing up instantaneously. But they let someone in a paraglider, a hang glider, come in. Oh yeah, that's who executed 1,200 people that day. Yeah, right. John said it, Blake said it, and maybe they're right. Maybe they are right. I've been asking for the evidence. I've been asking for the proof. Show me where we have evidence that happened. I don't know where that evidence is. They might be right. But to me, it just gives off cringy rape vibes of like, well, you know, she shouldn't have been wearing such a seductive outfit. She was sort of asking for it. She was sort of asking for it. Well, if she didn't want to be raped, she shouldn't have allowed it to happen. She should have stopped it. She could have stopped it. Come on, you can see creepy guys coming from a mile away. I don't know. I don't like the victim blaming thing there. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a 9/11 style inside job, right? Maybe it was. But I have concerns about how we blame the attack. I haven't seen the proof. Maybe I've missed it. Maybe I haven't been looking for it. Maybe somebody could drop it in chat. But just saying, Bibi wouldn't have let this happen. If this happened, he was in on it. Well, okay, you can dislike Netanyahu and stop short of saying he did this. He planned this as a false flag to go invade all these other territories. And that's what John was saying. And that's what Blake was saying. And I don't know. I just instinctively usually side against the Islamic terrorists that are constantly blowing shit up and executing innocent people. And I got a personal space in hell for someone that's going to mess with someone at a music concert or a music festival. So I don't know. Deb is saying, I have a friend who lives there. She often has to jump out of a chat room so she can go to a bomb shelter. Oh, whatever, Deb. That's just propaganda. That's not happening, says the pro-Palestine people. That's not happening. Everything's a conspiracy. No, it's all a conspiracy. It's just propaganda. It's for sympathy for Israel, like it always is. I mean, I can write the script of BLM, Antifa, Trantifa, whatever the Democrats are putting on their cosplay outfits to be now. And maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Sorry, I wasn't making fun of you or your friend. I was just saying that's what everything that is shown to an Israel hater is just like, that's bullshit. That's not a thing. But how many times did I bust Blake and when doing shows and reading things with zero evidence, with zero confirmation, but like a strong willingness to believe any anti-Jew hate because it fits how they're feeling in their heart. And that's fine. You're allowed to feel how you feel. But it's like, just show me the proof. Link to an original source article. Like, what is the story? And I'm like, no, you can't just make your claims based on something that doesn't really back up your claims and expect me to just go along with. I know you got it. I don't think I was being obtuse. I was being obtuse, but I didn't think I was being vague. I was being very clearly over the top there intentionally, but I just want him to stop fighting. Figure it out. Stop fighting in the sandbox. And if you can't stop fighting, you both got to go, well, he started it. Fuck both of you. You won't stop killing. You won't stop ratcheting this up into a World War III potentiality. You go to Greenland, you go to Iceland, you go to Sudan, you go to Mexico, you go here, you go there. Just go. That's the land of Christ anyway. Islam doesn't respect Christ as the Lord and Savior and the Son of God. Judaism, the Jewish people don't say that Jesus Christ was the Son of God. What are you doing in God's land then? What are you doing in the Holy Land where Jesus Christ walked? Turn into a Christian theme park, and you both go in separate places on the earth. Get double the size of your nation and rebuild it over there. Oh my God, did he really just say that? No, look, my entire life. Oh, tensions rise in the Middle East again as a new market bombing occurred. A suicide bomber came in, and a homicide bomber came in. Another attack in Tel Aviv as Hamas fires rockets into killing 7. It's like, my God. They will not stop killing each other. So how about they both got to go? It's like being in a bar. You're a bouncer in a bar. They won't stop fighting. They won't stop ratcheting up. You're both kicked out. You both go. Yeah, but God promised it to me in my holy book. Okay. This is one of my least favorite topics on earth. This whole topic is one of my least favorite topics. I don't know. I don't claim to know everything. I listen to Blake and John, and I know what you're saying. I get it. I hear what you're saying. I hear what other people are saying. I don't know.
Leftists are barricading themselves inside of college campuses and lighting their diplomas on fire.
How many sleeper cells are in America right now?
Democrats are losing their party. And what are they doing? They're ignoring it or celebrating it. The president of South Africa went to the White House yesterday and got grilled about white genocide. Democrats in the media thought, it was only a couple of white farmers massacred. Yeah. It's not officially genocide until it's like, what, 10,000? Is that how they feel about the Jews? Reporters who said Biden's brain fog was a hoax are now saying white genocide is.
I did show some of this earlier.
1,000 burial sites of white South Africans that he said were murdered.
Yeah, they weren't technically 1,000 burial sites. A cross literally next to a cross. You know that you need space to have a burial site. Those weren't actually burial sites, you fucking nitwit, and you know it. Oh, but Trump misspoke. That's technically not accurate. It's representing all of the dead people. So I get the little gotcha she's trying to play.
You know that is not true.
Missing the point.
It's not true. The video was showing a burial site. It is unsubstantiated. That.
Yeah, they weren't burial sites. They were indicating a burial site elsewhere of a slain white person from that racist South African policy that's encouraging the attacks on the farmers. Playing these little gotcha games.
That's the case.
The video showed images of crosses in South Africa about white farmers who have been killed and politically persecuted because of the color of their skin. And those crosses are representing their lives. Are you just...
Yes, the crosses represent their lives. There's your clarification. Put that in your pipe and smoke it with your painted on eyebrows, lady.
Disputing that there's no...
The fact that the video showed what the president claimed it showed, because it did not show that. But even more, what I'm asking you is who at the White House...
It did show that. It showed white crosses representing people who have perished because of racial persecution.
Yes, it's representing people, not actual literal burial sites. You don't put a burial site on the berm of a road. Everyone fucking knows that, you lousy, lying, propagandist media piece of shit.
The Daily Show actually...
She's technically right. It's not a burial site, but we all know.
Actually found white genocide funny.
President Trump's meeting with the president of South Africa today. And because it's Donald Trump, things got weird.
Death, death, death,
Horrible death. Death.
Why are people laughing at this?
I don't know.
What a host. Death. Hey, do you want a Diet Coke? Yeah.
Who is this guy? I don't even recognize this guy. He's instantly not funny and offensive. You can be offensive. He seems like a hack.
This is the state of the Democrat Party. They have more assassins than ideas. They shot Steve Scalise. Got a block.
Yeah, they shot Steve Scalise. David, look, like I was saying, that they would even question the white crosses. The president said that they're grave sites. They're not. It's not a cemetery where people are buried 1 inch away from each other on the berm of a road. They're technically correct. It represents the life of a white person who's been butchered in that racist country of South Africa because of the color of their skin. That's the true part. They're just trying to play word games, little semantic things. I saw my pro-Ukraine, anti-orange man, anti-white, cuckolding, air quote, friend of mine, this lady from high school, shared, a president shared debunked fake information when he ambushed the president of South Africa today. And I'm like, what is it in you that makes you hate you so much that you're always going to take the worst side imaginable? She's been brainwashed to hate Trump, to hate men, to hate white people, all of it. Every day she posts this shit. Every day. I won't unfriend her. And I do occasionally send messages, and she occasionally writes back, although less frequently these days. Less frequently.
They shot Steve Scalise. Got a block away from murdering Kavanaugh. Shot the president. Now they're blowing up homes, IVF clinics, and Teslas. They're executing CEOs and Jews and having margaritas with MS-13. Their donors finance it. They nurture it at universities, excuse it in the press, and downplay it after the fact. Their tactics are creating collateral damage in the Mideast. You think Israel's going to make peace after this? You think it's easier to get Iran to sign a nuke deal after this? No. Harvard's already lost billions. And now Kristi Noem's banned the school from enrolling foreign students.
And that was reversed by some activist judge.
Left-wing violence is killing the peace process and killing the Democrat Party. And notice how they're not screaming about gun control. That's how you know it's one of their own.
Oh, that's a great point. They're not screaming about gun control, which means it's one of their own. Elijah Schaefer here says, why are you just seeing this footage for the first time in 25? They're saying this footage came out 4 years ago, though. But regardless, I'm seeing this. Have you seen this footage? Hey, in the chat, who attacked the United States on 9/11? Oh, did I just say that? Who did it? Who attacked the United States on 9/11? Put it in the chat, just out of curiosity.
In 1993, we were able to rescue people off the roof. So having experienced this somewhat before, we kind of thought that was going to be the same game plan.
You cut car 4-5 off. 4-5.
I haven't seen this before. Also in the comments, have you ever seen this? Helicopter footage?
But as we're approaching, you could start to see the size and scope of this.
You're to stand by. You're to stand by what? We'll get Harbor Base. Say what Central Harbor Base, Kate.
I've never seen it.
First thing we did was survey the rooftops of both the North and the South Tower.
Command post on the air. Command post.
The South Tower, the amount of smoke that was billowing up and coming over the roof.
Aviation on the air. Aviation on the air. Association Street, proceed with the message. People hanging off the windows about 5 floors from the top. There's at least 50 people hanging on.
Whew. Look at that view.
Proceeded over to the North Tower, and there was an opening by the northwest corner.
Corner central. 57 Chuck 1, proceed, thanks. We're taking a look at the northwest corner of the north building.
I could make out the little pebbles on the roof. I could see the individual pebbles. That's how close we were.
Jeez. I've never watched this before.
They're all hanging on the side of the building, on the Church Street side.
I'm just noticing that there's completely generic music in the background. Let's see if this gets flagged for copyright because YouTube is absolutely insane.
We continued circling the tower.
This is footage that's historically relevant. This is a news segment. This is providing original commentary. It's covered under fair use, so don't touch this footage.
If we could have saw somebody there, we would have made a try, but there was nobody up there.
And who did
my
this?
Heart just sunk into my stomach, and I'm looking out the window of the helicopter, and I'm seeing people.
The whole side! It's gone! The whole tower! It's gone! Holy crap! They knocked the whole freaking thing down!
How does a tower go down like that? Come on, people. Come on.
Holy goddamn!
You hit it 90% of the way up. That doesn't take it down.
They did it! It's down! The second tower is down!
EISA.gov/rumor control. They'll tell you they know what happened. Believe their lies. Countervailing views. Go find them.
God damn! About 15 floors down from the top. It looks like it's totally glowing red. On the inside, it's inevitable.
And
You saved it. It looks like the building's gonna collapse. I would evacuate all people within the area of that second building. I don't think this has too much longer to go.
jeez, I've never watched that before. It's from 9/11, One Day in America, a documentary that came out 4 years ago, seen by millions. I've never watched it. This report here says in the 76-day period between Trump winning and Biden leaving office, $93 billion was sent from the Department of Education and given away with no oversight to entities with no financials. The 76-day period you're talking about, that's the period between the time President Trump was elected and Biden left office. How much? Taxpayer men went out. Oh, DOE is Department of Energy. From the Loan Program Office and Loans and Commitments, $93 billion, well over twice as much as it had in the previous 15 years. You're telling me the Department of Energy in the 76-day period? Yep, no financials, correct. Watch this whole video. Check out our show with John B. Wells from yesterday, 2 days ago. May's put out in May of 24, Howard Stern had former Vice President Joe Biden on for an hour-long interview, one of the most shameful and pathetic moments in American media history. This is where Stern became pig vomit. Biden sat there like a corpse while Stern told every fake Biden story, how Joe met Jill, Amtrak Joe, the stuttering. Stern told Biden these stories, hitting all the talking points that he had been given. Stern devoted 10 minutes at the end to repeating almost every Trump hoax the media has pushed about him. Imagine telling Stern 20 years ago that this is what he would be doing someday. Go watch that. Here's some concerning stuff. Sean Ryan says, we legitimately don't know what China is doing on the other side of the moon. If China can cool their quantum computers with helium-3 before we can, the jig is up. This is part of the power of space. The twist there is China is there on the moon, on the far side of the moon. We don't even see what they're doing because we don't have infrastructure up there to even see what's going on, but we do know that they're mining helium-3. Lily Garafola, preschool teacher in Little Steps Learning in Massachusetts, arrested, caught on video grabbing and slamming children into walls and the floor while aggressively screaming in their faces. Fuck her. This Dijon Carrington is going to hurt somebody in the WNBA, ripping and clawing at the eyes. You know, black lady on white lady. I'm super surprised to see this. WNBA supports and panders toward Dijon's form of bigotry, says Jason Whitlock. Yeah, you don't reach and tear at the eyeballs of somebody. That person should be kicked out of the league. This guy, Tommy Robinson, it was announced on the 20th that Tommy Robinson would be released from prison early. And then on the 21st, the British government charged him with 2 new bullshit crimes. Britain is not a safe country for anyone critical of its Islamification anymore. Flee Great Britain. They've been conquered. Elias Rodriguez is the Chicago far-left activist accused of shooting dead 2 Israelis outside of the Capital Jewish Museum. This guy had a long history supporting BLM in Palestine and communist and anti-white causes. Those groups have been trying to scrub his associations with them by deleting articles and pages where he's mentioned. While being arrested, Rodriguez shouts, "Free, free Palestine." There he is doing it. Hey, you want to know the motivation?
Outside! No. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
That guy smirked. Who's that guy?
Free Palestine! Outside!
Oh, he's the guy that picks up that little hanky, that little bandana do-rag. Huh. Is he a co-conspirator, that guy? Seemed very friendly to this guy. Suspect Elias Rodriguez, according to reporting from Andy No, posted this manifesto on X shortly before the deadly shooting, saying, "Escalate for Gaza, bring the war home." Yeah, how many sleeper cells are across America right now? How many sleeper? Oh, I didn't share that. Hang on. That needs to be shared. Oh, God. Now they got a fundraiser. Oh, GoFundMe. Mobilizing illegal migrants, BLM activists, Muslims, communists. Where is the post? I wonder if it's raised anything. He went to Blue Sky complaining that X was racist, misogynist, cesspool. Profile banner had Palestinian gunmen carrying out a terror attack on citizens in Tel Aviv. Okay. Aaron Siri here, talking about the 1986 National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. Pharma companies have sweeping immunity, not just for 3 vaccines, every new childhood shot added since. The result, a CDC schedule that ballooned from 3 to 29 in the first year of life and 0 liability for the injuries. They don't have the financial incentive to make them safer, Siri said. In fact, they're a disincentive. Can't sue the manufacturer for harm. There's only one product you can't do that. That's weird. Snopes in 2009 definitely wrote that 86 is associated with to kill. Can't wait for the fact-checking site to stealth edit and delete this, says Mike Cernovich. Bobby Kennedy Jr. here talking about Gardasil as maybe the single worst mass product we've ever seen. Children are 37 times more likely to be ended from the vaccine than they are from cervical cancer, he claims. Here's a white liberal being racist toward a black conservative, calling him an Uncle Tom.
From the Democrat plantation. He's actually considered a hero. But you racist white Democrats want to demonize Uncle Tom because he was helping black people escape from people like you. He doesn't know it. He's never read Harris Stowe.
Uncle Tom.
He's
This guy
never
likes
read
Uncle Tom.
I mean, he was a hero. He was helping black people reach freedom.
He's a hero.
Look, they just come out here. They come out here. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it out and put it on X. I'm gonna help you go viral. Wow.
So there's that. So the wife of a Korean-born Biden-appointed judge, Mi Young-jun, just blocked Trump from shutting down the Department of Education. He has a wife who uses pronouns and is the principal of a pro-DEI company called Diversity at the Workplace. Rogue activist judge, says Laura Loomer, in judicial coup against President Trump and the power of the executive branch, the Biden-appointed U.S. district judge blocked Trump from shutting down the Department of Education, ordering Trump to reinstate 1,300 employees fired by the DOE. Another conflict of interest. Shocking. What is this? Trump ordering the immediate release of all... Well, let's listen to... Is this Stephen Miller? Let's listen. I don't know if it is.
Next, sir, we have a presidential memorandum for your attention. This memorandum requires the immediate declassification of all FBI files relating to the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. This was obviously one of the instances of the weaponization of law enforcement powers of prosecution against you and others. We believe that it's long past time for the American people to have a full and complete understanding of what exactly is in those files.
Which gives the media the right to go in and check it. You probably won't bother because you're not going to like what you see. But this was total weaponization. It's a disgrace. Should never happen in this country. But now you'll be able to see for yourselves, all declassified.
I thought he did this a while ago.
Is that correct? Would you
Yes, sir.
say? All declassified?
Yes, sir.
Everything?
The FBI file with there's a classified annex, but other than that, this we'll put everything in the public eye.
Is anybody going to look? Huh? What about you? You going to look? And frankly, the FBI should be ashamed of themselves, and so should the Department of Justice, and so should Biden. Okay.
Yeah, so should Biden. You know that. Oh, yeah. A reminder from Dr. Jane Ruby. Congress exempted themselves from COVID shots and 3,000 staffers. Why did they do that? If they were 95% effective and they're guilty of treason and premeditated mass murder, maybe. Maybe. Scott Jennings, CNN, another.
They were convicted. Hold on a second. They were convicted. Maybe they were convicted of
Illegal aliens President Trump deported to Sudan. Here you go. Democrats are upset for some reason.
very serious crimes. I'll read it. The penalty that the Trump administration says is appropriate potentially could be death.
I mean,
right?
I'll read it. Sex offenders,
is that
homicide,
right, Scott?
kidnapping, murder in the first degree, battery, larceny, cocaine possession, murder, robbery,
Okay.
DUI, child sex
Okay,
abuse, and sex
yeah.
assault on someone with a mental
Scott.
illness. The Sudan is too good for these people.
Scott, no.
And I'm not sure any other country would take them.
But what about their home country?
I'm not sure they'll take them. Would you take that person
How
back?
do you know that?
Well, one of them came from Cuba.
No, no, no.
I have to say.
How do you know that?
I don't
Yeah,
care what we do
Vietnam.
with them.
You
These
don't
are
know.
heinous, violent criminals, and they do not need to be here. That's all I know.
So let me just play. This is they were convicted. Hold on a second.
Can I read it?
So yeah, Sudan is too good for these people. U.S. Attorney Judge Janine slamming federal government for forcing anyone who wants water at the office to join a membership at $7 a month. It's a water club, and no water is even delivered. They give dance classes in Wuhan, China, and Sesame Street in Iraq, $44 billion a year through U.S. aid. They want to charge you for water. How insane. Charlie Kirk asserting that Islam is not compatible with the West. Importing millions of Muslims is suicidal, he says. Check out that video. Former Diddy artist Freddie P. openly speaking out against P-Gate, claiming it's no longer a secret, and they've been unfolding right in front of our faces for years, saying P-Gate is not just a theory, deeply rooted in culture in Hollywood, one says. One, he says, reveals the industry's true identity and allegiance to Satan. Freddie points to a recent social media post of Bieber eating this delicious food during Diddy's trial, suggesting it was a deliberate message. Only representatives for Bieber have responded, stating that he is not a victim of Diddy. 2018, Nicole Wallace was asking members of Trump's team to take a polygraph if Trump was fit for office. And in 24, she's claiming videos of Biden stumbling around were cheap fakes. This lady is just trash. She sucks. You heard about this story. 24-year-old Venezuelan illegal immigrant got a social security card, a birth certificate, and registered for school as a 16-year-old in Ohio. This 24-year-old illegal alien invader had a baby with an underage 16-year-old. No, so he's a pedo on top of it. He broke up with that girl to date another underage junior in high school. The 16-year-old girl was upset and decided to tell his caregivers, the people that adopted this man, that he was lying about his identity. Therefore, the school looked into this and found out said 16-year-old was actually 24-year-old Venezuelan man. So to all you people rooting for the freedom of immigration, this is what you're rooting for. Also, how did he get the social security card and birth certificate? I bet he voted too, is the assertion of this video. Real Robert calling for, saying this is Detroit, Michigan, 3 hours and 15 minutes after the polls closed. Dana Nessel and Jocelyn Benson loading thousands of Bidens into a minivan with Indiana plates. Gretchen Whitbag driving? Indiana plates. I don't know what he's saying, but yeah, we need to investigate. FBI entrapment in Michigan. This is why they're coming after Joe Kent, and everyone knows it. Posobiec put this out. Elias Rodriguez, the Party of Socialism and Liberation, argued that the murder of Laquan McDonald in Chicago hid for Amazon is a separate issue, both connected. But the far left violence is out of control, says Tim Pool. Anita Dunn keeps being mentioned as one of the main people running the country while Biden suffered obvious mental and physical decline. The same Anita Dunn that was on camera praising one of the worst mass murderers in history, Chairman Mao. Liz Churchill says it's treason. Kevin Sorbo put this Branko comic out. Then, here's this dude, Jake Tapper. Biden's decline is a right-wing conspiracy. And now, White House and the media covered up Biden's decline with his pushing his book, Original Sin. What a dope. Kyle Becker says, meet the new president of the United States. His name is Mayung Jae-jun. He just ordered Trump not to close the Department of Education. Don't remember voting for him. Too bad. Elections don't matter for the Democrat Party. Benny Johnson got a selfie with Joe Biden. There's the auto pen. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino look like they were being held hostage during a Fox News interview where they claimed that Trump would-be assassin Thomas Crooks acted alone in Butler. Roger Stone says, though he likes both men, he is extremely concerned. Watch this video. Alex and Roger. Luke Radowski saying it's kind of weird that they've arrested more squirrels than Epstein clients. Aaron Rodgers saying O'Keefe got ousted at Project Veritas. Rogan said, I'd like to know what the story is. There's no official story. The guy who releases everything, why wouldn't he release that? And he tells Rogan, we just did today. So anyway. Oh, Anna Paulina Luna saying she has evidence presented during yesterday's JFK hearing. It's becoming increasingly clear that elements within our own government have been blocking the release of truth pertaining to the assassination of President Kennedy. For the past 62 years, the CIA has actively and continuously obstructed the investigation of the assassination of President JFK with no consequences. Mr. Hardaway, former Select Committee on Assassinations. The biggest part of the Biden scandal, says Clandestine, is not that Biden was a vegetable who had cancer. The real scandal is that the rest of the Biden administration, the Democrat Party, and the media actively covered it up. This scandal is not about Biden, it's about his handlers. This entire debacle proves one of the biggest conspiracy theories that the media are in bed with the intelligence community and are a propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. They used to call this idea Russian disinformation, QAnon stuff. Now it's widely accepted as reality, because it is reality. The scandal proves the Democrats have corrupted the media under the guise of free press. The scandal proves that the Democrats are engaged in literal fascism via government control of the private sector. This scandal proves that the Democrats and their mainstream media cohorts, lying legacy media cohorts, engaged in literal treason. This scandal proves that the deep state exists, that the news is fake, and that Trump was right about everything. Bahezi Tweets tells you, Homeland Security conducted a massive raid in Los Angeles and arrested members of a transnational gang that's stolen up to $83 million in Amazon deliveries. 13 gang members arrested and will face heavy prison sentences. Thank you for that. Luke Radowski dropped a new shirt. Boer Lives Matter. I don't get a cup, but that's a good shirt to wear. Hey, what's this? Keck Magician says, if we don't correct course, we become South Africa. Brian Wilkinson shows you this, purporting this to be a picture taken from CCTV camera just before a South African farm attack. Please note the military jammer on the guy's back that's blocking all cell phone signals for up to 500 meters, and the government says they're not involved in farm attacks. So where do they get military jammers from? I'll put out there, by the way, things were all jammed on January 6th as well. None of us had reception the entire day, most of the day. So I don't know if that's what this is, but here's the assertion. The assertion of Doge's Antonio Gracia says not only did illegals with Social Security numbers, fraudulent SSNs voted, and that they voted in 2020 as well. How long have Democrats been rigging elections with illegals? Says they registered to vote and they actually voted in 20 and 24. Go figure. FDA commissioner exposes that inspectors have been accepting limo rides from big pharma companies they're sent to inspect. I'm amazed at some of the stuff I'm learning when I look under the hood. Katie Hopkins shows you this in South Africa, the killing fields. Oh my God, look at this.
If you don't do what we are telling you to do, or you're gonna rape your wife in front of you and kill her and rape even your children, the small one.
I don't know if they're gonna take this down because there's music playing the documentary. The words are. I guess I got a mute.
My husband was murdered in what they classify as a farm attack, and they shot him in the head in front of us, and he fell at my feet.
In the last year, there were roughly 84 farm murders.
Oh, yeah. That's what John B. was telling me yesterday. Like, he can't even get into just how bad the torture is.
If you didn't tell us to say, well, where's the money? We're going to shoot yourself. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, let's steal all your stuff or else.
My arm like this, and he showed me the way out.
How long were you raped for?
Armed by the corrupt.
The least weapons I've been used.
I hit the ground, they started hitting me and said, today we're going to kill you, you white bastard.
They were going to kill you, you white bastard. South Africa, people.
It's a racial thing. And the world can say what they want, the black people don't want us here.
We belong to each other and we owe it to each other if we want to keep on farming.
They can come and kill me, but I won't go.
Lots more The Killing Fields, written and directed by Katie Hopkins. That was from 7 years ago, and it's finally getting attention because Biden's out of the way. I know that came out autumn of 18, and Trump was still in office, but it's an important story. Clay Travis puts out here. High school girl loses first place to a boy pretending to be a girl and comes in second. Then goes on top of the podium to the #1 spot, takes a photo of herself on the first place stand. Good for her. Watch her interview. Every Democrat politician in the U.S. Senate thinks this is a good result. Yeah, defend girls. Gabriella Sommer arrested on a federal assault charge for spitting on acting U.S. Attorney Ed Martin. Charges of assault and resisting or impeding a government official. Yeah, it's gross. Here's drivers catch on camera a video of reported illegal aliens running away from an accident on the 5 freeway downtown LA. I'm sorry, in San Diego. Put the car and run away.
Everybody okay? Get back. That thing's leaking gas, no? That thing's fucking leaking, bro. It's okay. Just let him go. Let him run.
Let him run.
Good job. Everybody else okay? These guys obviously don't give a fuck.
Run in with luggage.
Run, La Migra, La Migra. Oh, they're fucking running.
What do we want America to be? Why are we putting up?
Is everybody okay?
Anyway, I think that's what I had on tap to share with you. I go through the news with you. I sift through X. I sift through our Instagram feed, and we try to make sense of what's going on. I'm going to sign out as well. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. David, everyone else. Hit like, hit subscribe. And we'll be back. If we do a show tomorrow, which I'm planning on, it would be later. In the late afternoon, I would imagine. Or the evening. So I would not expect a show early tomorrow. I appreciate all of you folks. I'm going to sign out for now. So from everybody in the TNAM universe, I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace and love.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.